And we are live. What's good, man? What is good, people? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome to the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Y'all know what it is. I'm waiting to see if we're broadcasting. My bad. Let me see if I can get this going. If we're broadcasting. And I think we are. Let me hit the clap again. Wrong button. And we are good. So what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday, man. Happy Tuesday. I'm glad y'all are here. Sister Candace, what's good, love? How are you doing? Good afternoon. That's for you. Good to see you. It's always good to see you. Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming through. A Fresh and Fit platform. They're what, almost 950,000. They are definitely closing in. Those I think they're in the air right now on their way back to Miami. They might already be on the ground by now. I don't know what time their flights were or anything like that. I haven't been. I've been kind of laying back. They're on a working vacation doing their thing. I've been laying back. I did send fresh birthday wishes. I think I sent it via Instagram. So it's all, they had a good time. They're doing their thing. Mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? So, they've been streaming while they were gone. So I've been kind of watching the streams and seeing what's up. I've been looking for an opportunity to talk about Desitny. Desitny is a YouTuber who's been on the Fresh and Fit platform. He's a Twitch guy doing his thing, heavy hitter in the space. And, of course, I discovered Desitny through Fresh and Fit. And I've been waiting, looking for an opportunity to kind of talk about this guy. I got a lot of respect for this dude. Like, I don't agree with everything. Like, I don't agree with everything with anyone. But I got a lot of respect for this dude. Just, listening to him talk, watching him debate. Sharp cat. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to him. Sharp cat. So an opportunity came up. Like, this Desitny was reacting to one of the episodes that occurred in overseas. So I'm like, it's a perfect opportunity. I can talk, I can review, react, give my 2 cents on what's going on, what's being said. So I got my notes and stuff like that. So it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to look into it. So, since the storm, I took that time off for the storm. We had to, we left. We relocated and went to Georgia, went to Atlanta because we had that storm that was coming to Central Florida. So it was a week I didn't do anything. And I'm just out back into it, grinding. Got a bunch of thumbnails out. We got a bunch of stuff coming up, y'all. Make sure you're checking out some of these shows. Brother Doug's in the house. We got one tomorrow. We were supposed to do it a couple of days ago. We pushed it to today, and we just pushed it again to tomorrow. And the topic is, should Floyd Mayweather fight Andrew Tate? I say he should not. And we're going to do this debate, me and Jay Swans. Jay Swans has been over me, man, just like killing me on this one. And we've been going back and forth in real world. I'm like, hey, man, let's do it on the platform, man. Let's have this debate right on the platform. So tomorrow, without a doubt, 1 p.m. tomorrow. We're not going to push it again. We're definitely going to do it tomorrow at 1 p.m. I hope y'all can make it. I really do. Brother Doug's in the house. What's good, bro? Good to see you. Salute to you, sir. You know what I mean? You out here making it happen. DL Saint, you have you had a chance to watch the videos I sent you? Not yet. I'm watching those tonight. But I do have them. And I send them to Jay Swans too. Most of those videos you sent me, because we're working on putting all that together into one show. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I've been trying to stay away from that, but you can't. You know what I mean? You can't. You done already hit me up on it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do that show. It'll probably happen. If it doesn't happen Friday, or happen Monday for sure. If I don't do it Friday, at 1 p.m., it's gonna be Monday at 1 p.m. for sure. It's just something that I was trying to stay away from, but it's something. It just. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's a shame that we even got to talk about it. You know what I mean? What's going on with this country, politically, what's going on with all that stuff. But there's no way to avoid it, bro. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. And yeah, as far as and that's we'll get into this tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna read this. Brother Doug is saying he should not take that fight. I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't if I were Mayweather. I would not take that fight. And then we'll get into the details. We'll definitely get into it tomorrow. I'm not gonna say anything else on it, you know what I mean, because it opens up the conversation, and I don't want to have that conversation right now. We'll definitely have it tomorrow. It is going to happen tomorrow, 1 p.m. We're gonna have that show, no doubt. First time we couldn't do it, we had some issues. Second time we decided to push it back just to get the word out a little bit more. We really want a lot of people, a lot of cats to jump in on that conversation. I'm really curious to hear what people have to say. And I know there's a lot of guys out there who are sports people, like they really know the boxing world. There's gonna be a bunch of guys out there who are just manosphere dudes, and they just, they're 100% take. You're gonna hear that take. I want to hear, you know what I mean? I want to have this good. It's gonna be a good conversation, man. So that's tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for sure. Me and Jay Swans is gonna be on that. Brother Jason's in the house. What's good, bro? What's good? Welcome. Sister Candace, I would love to see Desitny on the episode of Fed at 1811 discussing Trump. Yo, send in the chat. Say it to Myron. Tell that to Myron. Go on. Like, you're always there. You're one of the big minds on Fed it. Type it in there. He might do it. I mean, Destiny's in Miami, so it's not like it's a tough call. And we know that Myron's pro-Trump. He said that before they went to Europe. Destiny's definitely not pro-Trump. I think it'll be a good debate. I really do. I know Desitny has a lot of respect for Myron. And if Myron were to ask, I would bet anything that Desitny would do it. I would like to see that too, to be honest with you. I'll next time, the next Fed, I'll go in there and I'll drop a chat, man. I'll drop a super chat and like, hey, bro, have you considered this? It's normally it wouldn't fit because Myron does the criminal stuff, but because Trump has gotten himself into this mess criminally, it makes sense to bring someone like Desitny on and they can have this debate about Trump or whatever. It kind of makes sense. I'm with you on that. We'll see. So, some people out there might be wondering, like, yo, who is my? Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that, but I'm messing up this Mr. Producer thing. But I want to pull up who Desitny is, and like everyone else, man, you just kind of go and wiki it up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I'll go with this one. Wiki it up. So there it is. Let me make it a little bigger. So, I didn't really know much about dude. Honestly, I just saw him once you watch something with somebody, I know how the algorithm goes. That person just keeps popping up in your feed, and you know what I mean? He talks to, like, I know he's been debating with Sneako a lot, Alba from Alba and Preach, and Desitny, like, they're doing things. Like Alba and Preach, I'm not a big fan of that platform. I mean, it is what it is. They do their thing. They've been around there. You know what I'm saying? They're G's in the space. They came up and they're doing their thing. Apparently, I think I was a comedian. So we know people from that world. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's folks that I know from the comedy world, and he knows the same people from the comedy world. I've never met dude. I've never seen his comedy. At least I don't think I have. To be honest with you, I don't think I have. I mean, it's possible, especially if he was in LA during the time I was in LA. Maybe we've been on some shows together, because in LA, when you're doing comedy, you get on these small shows, people like producers put together shows and they bring you on. Like, it is what it is, but I can't say that I've ever met the brother. I don't know. You know what I mean? I see how they move. I see what they do. And, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but I do salute his hustle. You know what I mean? Him and his co-host or co-creator or whatever you want to call it, like his partner in crime, Preach. You know what I mean? I give it to him. They're out there doing it. But yeah, I don't normally rock with dude. I mean, I used to sit there and watch some of their stuff, but yeah, I came away from it. But salute to them. So anyway, Desitny, He's a streamer. You know, he's an American internet personality and political commentator who is among the first people to stream video games online full time and receive attention as a pioneer of the industry. So that's, you know, that's how he gets his bread. Like, he one of the first gamers to actually go on and just play video games and talk. He went on to be, I think he was he played video games at a professional level. He had joined some teams, but let's see, he's half Cuban, half American. He was raised in a conservative Catholic home. I want to say he was raised in Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm sorry. Omaha. He was in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where he came up. So he's from flyover country, conservative home, Catholic. All that makes sense. You know, went to like private school. So, you know, definitely well educated. And then there was some tragedy. See, when he was a preteen, his mom's home daycare business collapsed, and his family's home was foreclosed on. So, you know, that's traumatic right there, y'all. Like, that's just real life stuff. That's real life stuff. You know, like, your parents are out there making it happen. They're working. It's really hard being in business for yourself. There's a lot of risk involved with that. Looks like something went wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe the business just kind of, you know, who knows what happened, you know? And they ended up losing their home, which that's tough. And as a young kid, as a young man, he's like experiencing this with his family. I didn't know that. That was tough. It's like a few years later, his parents moved to take care of an Asian relative, after which he lived with his grandmother until he was 18. So, I mean, just reading that, you know, I mean, that's, you go through tragedy, you know, they're trying to do what they got to do to keep the kids safe, keep a roof over their heads, you know, working within family, which is what you should do. And, yeah, he wound up living with his grandma. So some other stuff happened. And you know, again, everything you read online, man, take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Take it with a grain of salt. Brother Doug, no charges yet. Yes, I told you, November, bro. November. He's going to get indicted in November. We were talking about Trump and Brother Doug's reference because we got $20 on it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I already spent your money, bro. He's getting indicted. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? And again, even like Myron Gaines, go back and watch. I don't know if you've seen his Fed platform. Go check it out. Like, he did a show on Trump. He broke down the affidavit. We know as much as he could because everything was, you know, so much redacted. But even Myron was saying, like, yeah, bro, he's getting indicted. It's just a matter of time. And the only reason he's not indicted already is because of the election cycle we're in right now. But trust me, bro, November, he's getting indicted. It is what it is. Sister Candace, Doug, did you see Trump is suing CNN for $475 million? I saw something on CNN about that, but I didn't watch it. I saw the thumbnail or whatever. I haven't watched it yet. I'm definitely going to read up on that for Candace and Doug. I'm just like dipping into y'all conversation. And Doug's like, yep. And he should. I'm looking forward to the outcome. Nah, bro. Like, you know, if he can win some money, great. But I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak on it. I'm gonna look it up. But there's no getting away from this indictment. This coming. Yeah, it's coming. And CNN is down bad. Yes, they are. CNN don't have anything to talk about. They stopped reporting news and they became, you know, partisan. And they were just all anti-Trump all day long, 24/7. They were bringing in people, and you know, they lost their credibility. I mean, it used to be that CNN was the closest thing to trusted news in this country. But once Trump got in office, man, that changed. CNN, MSNBC was kind of like the same. So, and then it became like, well, dang, Fox seems to be closer, but we already know where Fox sits on that spectrum. So that's when I began, like, you know, not really began, but I was always doing it. Al Jazeera, BBC, you know what I mean? Any other news I can get that I can read is in my language. I would read it, other sources, and just try to find the truth. We talked about, y'all know we talk about that a lot. But getting back to Desitny, you know, he did go to college, but he didn't finish. He was studying music, it seems. He had a hard time juggling his education and full-time work, so he wound up dropping out like a lot of people do. No shame in that, you know what I'm saying? And then soon after, he was fired from a position. He had a restaurant position that he was, you know, working, and he decided to go with this restaurant work to make the money, left school, and then he lost that job. Again, this is stuff that most Americans, I know I got stories like this. Life is hard. I mean, it really is. Like once you get to that grown up level, you're grown up out here trying to make your way in life. It can be tough. So, he went on to do some other stuff. I guess he was working as a carpet cleaner. Then he decided to do streaming full time. And then he got into streaming, and the rest is history. He's good at it, became a professional gamer. He found his fortune, and he's still doing it to this day. I believe he's on Twitch. He's on YouTube. The stuff we're going to watch today is from YouTube, and, and shout out to him. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. The Hollow Turtle. What's up? Welcome, brother. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. I thought Al Jazeera was just for African fathers who was tired of CNN. I don't know about that. Like Al Jazeera's been around for a minute. I know the war that I fought, Al Jazeera was all over the place. They had correspondents on the ground. It's like CNN, BBC. Everybody had somebody embedded with somebody back then. And that was back in the 90s. The reason I like Al Jazeera when it comes to Western news is because they're definitely not pro-West. So they're going to give you the facts. You know what I mean? They just don't care just what it is here. This is what we found. And a lot of what they find, they kind of, they delve into stuff. They like to show when politicians take money. If they can, they'll show that. You know what I mean? They like to show, how America is supposed to be the people who fight for freedom, but we incarcerate more people in this country, more of our own people than anyone else on the planet. You know what I mean? They just kind of say the stuff that we know what's going on, but they say it out loud. So it is what it is. So I'll listen to Al Jazeera. I'll listen to BBC. BBC is owned by the British government. So again, they're only going to say so much. I try to look at, German stuff, but a lot gets lost in translation when you got to get, stuff translated into English. And, that's always tough. So, I mean, the point is this. You have to go search for the truth. You have to go search for what's really going on. And the world is getting smaller. So you just got to go out there and seek it out. That's the bottom line. So, yeah, that's Desitny right there, yo. So, and again, I discovered him on the Fresh and Fit platform. And I'm like, yo, dude can debate. Like, he knows his stuff. Very well spoken. I mean, his family may have had troubles, but they were able to get him the best education that they could. He's taking full advantage of that. He's made himself into something. You know what I mean? Shout out to that brother. Shout out to Desitny, man. So let's get into it. Let's delve into what is going on. Do Your Job is the name of the episode. Do your job. And I thought it was pretty good. We're gonna jump through it. I have got a bunch of notes here. But I wanted to focus mostly on the back and forth between Sneako and Andrew Tate. And this is the kind of stuff like when, Andrew Tate says a lot of wild stuff, yo. Just keeping it 100. I agree with a lot of what he says, but when he gets into that wild stuff, it's a head scratcher for me. But I'm older and I'm not in the demographic that he's targeting. Right? I'm just not. And y'all know how I feel. I'm always putting stuff through the think tank. It's all about, you need to think about what's going on. So this is one of those episodes where a lot of the stuff that Tate was saying, I'm like, all right. And Desitny was, Desitny was, in the title, do your job. You know what I mean? So, Desitny's the older dude. When we're talking about the YouTube world, it tends to be a young man's game, young woman's game, young person's game. But Desitny's a little bit older. I think he was born in 88. I'm definitely older. So when I watch this stuff and I sit back and I listen, it's just like, so we're going to get into it. Desitny made some really good points. Listening to Tate and stuff like that, I thought was pretty cool. So let's get into it. We're going to start right from the beginning. So we're going to jump in here. And this Desitny was discovered that Andrew Tate's an American. He didn't realize that Tate was an American because he doesn't really rock with it like that. And Andrew Tate was born in the United States. He was in the U.S., pretty much in the Midwest until he was 10. Then his mom and dad split. His mother is English, so she went back to Britain and took the boys. And I think they have a sister as well. I'm assuming that their sister went. I don't know. So from 10 and up, Andrew and Tristan were raised in Luton, in the UK, and apparently this is like a real hood spot. Like it's like one of the worst spots to grow up. So they grew up hard, which I can relate to. Like it is what it is. Brother Mandrell's in the house. What's good, bro? Shout out to you, man. Yeah, let's can't wait to pick a date. Brother Mandrell and I are working on a episode. We're going to talk about our military experiences. Like we were both in the United States Army. I was in before he was. We'll talk about my experience in the Army. Like my Army's going to talk about his experience in the Army, his Army. Y'all know I was airborne, a paratrooper. One of those hard charging type dudes. Well, Brother Mandrell was Green Beret, right? Special Forces on the teams. That's like way up here. That's why I'm down here. That's way up here. The shit he was doing, way up here. I'm down here. So we're gonna talk about our experiences, and we're also gonna talk about what's going on in Ukraine. I really want to talk about what's going on in Ukraine. There is no scenario in which I would think if you came to me and said that Russia's gonna invade Ukraine and it's going to take longer than 18 hours for them to secure that country, I would be like, nah, man, it ain't going to take that long. You know what I mean? Like, come on, it's Ukraine. We're talking about Russia. No way. Second or third most powerful military force on the planet, depending on who you talk to. No way Russia's going to have a problem with Ukraine. Well, Russia had a problem with Ukraine. So we're going to be talking about that as well. I get it now. The U.S. is involved. It's a proxy war for us. You know what I mean? Like I trained to fight Russians. I trained to fight Soviet bloc. I trained to fight the Chinese. We trained to fight communists. So for someone like me, I'm like, yeah, get them Ukraine. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, they were pretty much on their own. They didn't really have any support. No real support. Not like the support they got now. I'm talking about the Ukrainians. They got all kind of support now. So I just don't know what Russia's going to do. I don't know what Putin's going to do. Like they got to pull back as far as saving face. It's a wrap. And now that military, no one's taking them serious. No one. India could probably take Russia at this point. You know what I mean? It's like ain't nobody scared of them. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna lock in the date and we're gonna talk about that. You know what I mean? Brother Hayoka's in the house. What's good? We had a good show last night, man. Thanks again, brother, for coming on there, man. We got to actually get into the weeds. We were talking about Elon Musk. Unveiled his robot helper, whatever that thing is going to be. But basically, Elon Musk wants to be able to sell these robots that can actually help around the house, do household chores, move stuff, whatever. It's like buying yourself a helper. It's going to cost. They're thinking it's going to be priced around $20,000 a unit. Of course, they still got a lot of work to do on this thing, but. We were talking about that. We were talking about AI. We were talking about self-aware computers and, what could possibly happen to us humans. That was last night's show. Brother Hayoka came on there, man, and we got into the weeds. Well, it was a great conversation. Thanks again, bro. I really appreciate it. That was a good show. You know what I mean? Go back and check that out, y'all. That was a good show. But yeah. So be looking for that thumbnail, brother. Brother Mandrell and I are going to work that out. We're going to get that locked in. We're going to have that show. It's going to be a fun show. And then go back and check out that show about, what's it called? The Tesla bot. I think that's what Elon Musk has called it. The Tesla bots. You'll be able to buy one of those for about $20,000 whenever they finish making them. So you got another 3 to 5 years before it's all, done and on the market. But keep that in mind. That's cheaper than a car. 20 grand. It's crazy. So back to the show. So, yeah, we were talking about Andrew Tate is an American who kind of grew up in the UK from 10 onward. He lives in Romania now, former kickboxing champion and all that kind of stuff. YouTuber. This is the guy who was banned. The first dude who was banned from social medias and internet or whatever. So he's definitely, everyone's talking about him about that. So let's listen to what Sneako has to say.
All right, welcome.
Yeah, we have to make sure we're live everywhere because you've done some technical wizardry. Myron's done some magic.
Wait, somebody told me at the end of all of this that Andrew Tate is actually American? Is that true? So he's got like a South African / British accent / lives in Eastern Europe / but he's He's actually American? Is that true or is it not? He's half? He's from Chicago? Where is he actually from? Where was he born? He's half American, half British. You don't get to be half and half. It's one or the other. He moved to the UK in middle school.
Magical things here. So we have to make
Man,
sure.
it must be a really bright room for all these guys to be wearing sunglasses inside.
Real talk, they're all wearing So Fresh is wearing sunglasses. Sneako is wearing sunglasses. Tate's always wearing sunglasses for the most part. Justin and Myron aren't. So Myron doesn't wear sunglasses unless there's sun in his face. I've never seen the dude wear sunglasses on set or anything like that. And Justin, same thing. I don't see him on his platform wearing sunglasses when he's sitting in his living room filming, doing his shows. And that's one of the things that Jay Swans is always pointing that out. Like, bro, you wear sunglasses and smoke cigars. I'm like, I'm not doing that. He's always beating me up over this. Man, it's fair. I'm always getting beat up by my people. You know what I mean? Just so y'all know what I'm dealing with. All you dudes out here, we trying to help. Y'all see what I'm dealing with. Don't wear glasses inside, bro. Shit don't look cool.
What's happening?
We're live everywhere.
I'm trying.
Turn the lights down.
We're live on Rumble too?
Disney got a
lit,
point.
man. Yeah,
Disney got a point.
That's what it's about. We made it happen somehow.
Shit. We did it, guys. We all work hard on this.
Yeah, sorry guys for being late. Since we added Sneako to the panel, I had to go ahead and switch up the whole audio situation. So sorry for the delay. It's on me.
Welcome back, Andrew.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It's good to be back, and I look forward to the chat.
Yeah, man. So they've been over there for a while, a couple weeks now, and I don't know what Andrew Tate was up to, but he wasn't around. Like when they were staying at Andrew Tate's home with Tristan. Andrew Tate's brother was there. They were staying at the Tate complex. But Tate didn't show up for a while, so I guess he had business. He was out there taking care of what he had to take care of. But yeah, I was just like, I wonder where Tate is.
Asking us some questions. They've got a big panel here. I've got some questions to ask you all. I thought, if I'm going to have my good friends here on the show, and let me ask them some difficult questions.
Ooh.
You have to answer. You can't not answer. You have to tell the truth.
What's the
and answer.
caveat if you don't answer?
God, what if he asks the question?
Yo, Nigerian Flex is in the house, Cornerstone, Fresh and Fit, Dallas. I wear sunglasses in rooms. Bro, if I catch you wearing sunglasses, man, I got nothing but jokes for you. I am not going to lie. Nathan, shout out DL. Saint, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to laugh. Like wearing sunglasses inside, bro, for real? Why? But it is what it is. I think it's a generational thing too, bro. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't do that. That's funny though. And I was watching Brother Lincoln and Money Mike was on the Purple Pill podcast, and both of them were wearing sunglasses. I talked to Mike about it. Like, what are you doing, bro? But hey, man, that's what y'all do, man. I ain't mad at you, bro, but I don't wear sunglasses inside. There used to be an old rock and roll song that says I wear my sunglasses at night. I remember that from when MTV played videos, right? I wear my sunglasses at night. I don't. Sister Candace, Tate said in an interview on Grilling that he has suffered past eye injuries from fighting and wears sunglasses to lessen the light. I've heard that. I've heard that. It's a sensitivity thing. I don't know. I mean, it's cool, but shit, rock how you want to rock. You know what I mean? Brother Dusto's in the house. What's good? Scam likely, yo. Thursday on Black Man Network, Brother Dusto has a show. I want to say it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go support that, man. Black Man Unfiltered Network. Y'all go check that out. That shit's funny as hell. You know what I mean? Nigerian Flex. I said they were looking like Andrew Tate as kids. Yeah, I had jokes, bro. I had jokes. Brother Ness was good. Hello. Good to see you, bro. I watched the TV shows Andrew was in, and his injuries came back, so I know it's real. Oh, it is real? I don't know. Oh, it says Brother Ness was saying his eye was bleeding. Could be. I mean, it really could be, bro. I mean, he doesn't always wear glasses. There are times when he doesn't have glasses on, but most of the time I see him, he's wearing glasses. And and did these injuries come from his fight career, Brother Ness? Because I don't know. I know he said something about sensitivity to light, but I don't recall seeing any videos when he really delved into it. I mean, there's so much Tate content out there, bro. Brother Helka MTV and sunglasses at night way back. Yeah, I told y'all I'm old. Y'all know I'm old. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. Told y'all I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd with an M14. Still a nerd. And a geek. I love science fiction, but I am from the hood. Trust me. You know what I mean? We can be all these different things. That's something that people need to understand, bro. We can be all of these different things. But let's get back to it. Let's see. Before we go, Brother Ness was saying, yeah, he said it was fighting injury. I can see that. Kickboxer, elbows, knees, getting caught. I can absolutely see that, bro. That's a tough way to make a living, man. MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, all that's vicious, bro. Vicious. NFL football. Like you saw Tua. You know what I mean? Those injuries, man, like dude sleep. Bumps his head on the turf and goes to sleep. You know what I mean? Like that's dangerous and that's long-term damage. You know, I felt bad too. It should not have been in that game. He suffered the injury just a few days before. The Sunday before he suffered the injury and came back to play and actually win that football game against the Bills, only to come face Cincinnati the following Thursday. And, you know, but gets, you know, almost exact same scenario, hits his head, and that was it. Man, football is dangerous, y'all. Those boys get paid a lot of money, but they put their bodies through a lot. I know that. Same thing being in the military, bro. It's just something you sign up for. And trust me, in the military, we did not make that kind of money. I wasn't signing up for a 4-year, you know, $8.5 million deal, which is nothing in the NFL. Right? I wasn't even signing up for like league minimum money. I'm signing up for, I was making $1,041 a month. That's how much I made as an E4 promotable. Couldn't get E5 because we were top heavy at the time. That's how much I made when I got it. And that included jump pay. So I didn't do it for the money and my body hurts. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Sister Candace back when MTV actually played videos. Exactly. It's a whole different world. Brother Jose's in the house. What's good, bro? Like the video and subscribe. Thanks. I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate the support. Brother Helka, yeah, they had some good videos. They had some great videos, man. Everybody's talking about the LGBTQ, like the alphabet gang. I remember Boy George. I ain't gonna lie. I was confused. First time I saw Boy George. Come a chameleon. I was confused. I needed to talk to somebody. All right. I didn't know. I'm just between us. I was like, I might think Boy George is cute. I didn't know it was dude. Like, how come she doesn't wear a dress? And then we saw the videos and I was like, oh no. I'm just keeping it 100, y'all. It was confusing. I understand completely why my daughter is so confused right now if that narrative is being pushed into schools. My daughter told me, she was like, why do I have to be a girl? Why do I have to be a boy? I want to be a piece of cheese. And I had to sit there and tell her, you can be a piece of cheese, but you are a girl piece of cheese. I had to sit there and explain to her that there's a male and a female. This is how we were made. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So, you feel me? We had Boy George. That was it. Could you imagine what these kids are going through now with transgenders and this and that and, you know, 2 mommies, 2 daddies? I can only imagine how confusing this is to kids. But yes, that's another episode. We're not gonna delve into that now. Nigerian Fleck, the doctor got fired because he cleared Tua to play, but when they went back to look at the report, he had a bunch of inaccuracies. Yeah. And that guy's independent. It's not like he wasn't part of the league. He wasn't part of the players union. That's part of it. He's supposed to just be independent, but they just trying to get the money. You know what I mean? He had to feel pressure from somebody. Tua might have put pressure on him. Like, I'm fine, man. Just let me go back in, man. I passed your test. Yeah, that's all we're going to hear about all season. Because that his whole career might be over. You know what I mean? Those guys, they want to compete. They want to perform, man. They're at the top. They want to do what they got to do. They're going to say, look at RG3. RG3 went out there. They blame Shanahan for that, but it was RG3 saying, I'm good, coach, I'm good. And the medical staff like, yeah, I'm good. Just think how great he could have been. He could still be playing right now. I mean, he got jacked up. You know what I mean? Brother Jason, like, pause. Absolutely big pause, man. It was confusing, man. I didn't know, bro. I was like a young teen, man. I had hormones raging. I didn't know what Boy George. I mean, I didn't get it. All right. I didn't get it. Someone had to explain it to me. It's cool. But as a real man, I'm going to be able to stand up and tell you the truth. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what these kids are going through now. They didn't have surgeries and stuff like that back then. But of course, once I and it's same thing with Analytics from the Eurythmics. She had short hair and wore suits. So after the whole Boy George thing, I didn't know who to like and who to think was cute or not. So I see the Eurythmics and Annie Lennox, and I'm sitting there like, is that a guy? Because I think that's, I don't know what to think. She was a woman, beautiful woman. Two people on videos. Could you imagine what these young kids are going through now, bro? So yeah, it was definitely a pause moment, but it is what it is. Brother Jose, that's crazy. Public schools are down bad. Yes, they are. It's horrible. Black Man Unfiltered is in the house, bro. What's good? Everybody, go to Black Man Unfiltered on YouTube. Subscribe, man. Hit that notification bell. Check out what he's doing. This brother has built an entire network. We're talking about all kind of different programming. I popped on last night. We had a good talk. Apparently, some woman choked her husband until he passed out because he was cheating on her. Go watch that video. Brother Black Man, what was the title of that video, man? If you could be so kind, link it. Put it in the chat. People, check out that video. We were wilding out. It was some serious subject matter, but we were wilding out. Crazy what's going on in this world right now. You know what I mean? Snuggle T is in the house. She identifies as a bear, but you can be a bear, Snuggle T. It's like I told my daughter. You can identify with anything you want to identify with, but you are a girl bear. Snuggle T. I got to tell my daughter, you could be the telephone pole, my dear, but you a girl telephone pole. She didn't like that. It's an ongoing conversation. You know what I mean? So yeah, and everybody, what's up? I see y'all showing love in the chat. Let's get back. Let me see, brother. Let me catch up on these real quick, and then we'll get back to Desitny. Brother, and that's non-binary epidemic is majority females that prove they are more hive-minded. Yeah, I don't know who to put it on, man. To be honest with you, I'm gonna have to really take a look into that. But I will tell you this: it's not the majority. It's definitely the minority. I will tell you that. You know what I mean? It's not the majority. It's just the minority is making a whole lot of noise right now. Brother Hayoka, Annie Lennox, great singer. Yeah, great singer. Very, very beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Sweet Dreams. I remember the video, bro. Sweet Dreams are made of these. I remember that, bro. Like I said, I was a latchkey kid. I couldn't go outside. That's what I had, man. I had MTV, and on the radio, I was listening to Dr. Demento on the Dr. Demento show. I'm listening to all this stuff, reading ElfQuest. Right. Meanwhile, outside, people out there getting their heads kicked in, getting hit with bats, shot with little 25s, you know what I mean? Little pistols, 38s. And then, you know what I mean? The mid 80s hit, mid to late 80s hit. And that's when the AKs showed up. That's when the Mac 10s, the Uzis, that's when they got real. That's when I was allowed to go outside. So I went outside, and even though I had my nerd background, I had all that nerddom in them, I was in the streets, bro. I was in the streets dealing with something completely different. That's when I discovered rap, Ghetto Boys and all that. So it's all part of who I am, man. And they're all equally important. Brother Dusto, Karma Chameleon came out when I was 5. He is the first alphabet celeb that I knew of. Absolutely, man. We're talking about Boy George. Yep. Talking about Boy George. You know what I mean? So, and we see the back and forth. Dusto and Snuggles, they have, you know what I'm saying? They out there be doing their thing. And brother, I choked him until he passed out. What accountability, unfiltered reactions. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Check that. And for real, on Black Man Unfiltered, man, we were talking about that. A great panel. We were having fun with it, but at the end of the day, it's a serious problem. Women running out here doing this, man. Like, ladies, I'm gonna keep saying this. Ladies, don't go out there thinking you can fight men. Don't go out there trying to hit men. You're going to come across that one dude who's more than willing and extremely eager to give you an equal right, and you don't want to take that blow. Trust me. Yeah, and brother, and yeah, Dusto. Yeah, George Michael was next. By the time Wham came around and all that, I figured it all out. Like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and George Michael's and the rest of them, I had figured it out by then. I was good. You know what I mean? I was good. I'm like, hold on, I got it. It was just the first couple that got me. You know what I'm saying? It was the first couple that I was just like, I didn't know what to do. It was information overload. It just didn't compute. You know what I mean? I can remember that. First time I saw Joy, I was just kind of looking at it. I didn't know what to do, and I see it, and what popped in my mind was this. I was just like,
Houston, we have a problem.
that's what I was thinking. Houston, we got a problem. I don't know what's going on here. Sister Candace, equal rights, equal lefts. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a lot of women getting knocked out. World Star is just full of videos of women getting knocked out when they decide to swing on the dude and the dude decides to defend himself. Ladies, don't do it. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. You heard me. Don't do it. Brother Doug, I was shocked when George Michael, not Boy George though. Yeah. Well, you was shocked with George Michael. By that time he rode around, when Wham rode around, I knew what time it was, bro. I knew what time it was. I was like, okay, I figured it out. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was just one of those things, man. One of those things, bro. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Brother Jason. Yeah, it was, yeah. And but anyway, let's get back to the show. Let's see what Desitny was talking about. Let's check this out.
Than I did. He was like, I saw you talk to this Desitny guy, and he said, how much money for you to suck a dick?
Wow. Desitny is a little sexually. Desitny is open for what I can tell. He has a very beautiful girlfriend. I think they're in a committed relationship, but it's an open relationship, and they apparently they engage in the group thing. They talked about this on Fresh and Fit. She's free to go do what she wants to do with other men. He's free to go do what he wants to do with other women. And then they come together and they invite people into their bedroom. And correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody out there, I don't want to get that wrong, but he did say that on the Fresh and Fit platform. They were talking about it. To each their own. Do what you want to do. I that's not for me, but I'm not gonna pass judgment. So like he's open, and when they invite people, like she will invite men back to the bedroom, and Desitny will participate. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's like holding the camera, or I don't know what that means. But apparently, there's that. So it is what it is, bro. Hey, man, it is what it is. To each their own. I've known a lot of people who have those type relationships, open relationships. I've said on this platform before and other platforms, I've had dudes hit me up because their wife want to do something with me. You know what I mean? Like, hey, my wife thinks you're, hot or whatever. She wants to sleep with you. You know what I mean? It's cool. I want to make my wife happy. So, you should go ahead and do that if you want to. Do you have a problem if I film? Do you have a problem if I watch? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm sorry. I'm cool. That situation, I'm just not, I'm cool. This is a weird situation to me. But it is what it is. There's people who just, they get down like that. You know what I mean? They get down like that. Snuggle T, equal whites deserving equal left. Doesn't that come from the Tony Sotomayor? Probably, because he was about to get down on the Fresh and Fit platform. Some chick was swinging on him, and he was ready to swing back. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it. But again, to each their own out there. Do what you want to do. Your bedroom's your bedroom. Invite who you want into that bedroom. It's up. It's on you. Just you and your people. So, but that little bit right there, that's part of it. That's part of it. Brother Doug, during the 80s, most celebrities were androgynous, though. Were they? I mean, they were open. I'm not, bro. I don't know. And Sister Candace said they are married. Oh, so they are married. Okay, I didn't know if they were just in a long-term relationship. I didn't know they were married. So okay, cool. Yeah, Desitny's married to his wife. And again, very lovely woman. She was on the Fresh and Fit platform as well. They were on there together, doing the after hours with a bunch of women. I think they did an early show too, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched, because y'all know I don't watch too many of the after hours anymore. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, Act Ozzy's in the house was good. Yuckies, right? I mean, to each their, hey man, do what you want, man. It's a free country. Do what you want. You know what I mean? Brother, and as I followed Desitny from back in the day, I was a big Twitch viewer, but that platform fell down. Okay. Yeah, because again, I only know the brother from Fresh and Fit. Scams likely, brother Dusto, one woman, one man. All this extra stuff is creepy. I feel you on that. You know what I mean? There's some, there are variants of that. There are guys who, there are guys who are like, well, I have my woman and I go out and I have my side pieces and this and that. There are women that do this. They do that too. I know women to be out there creeping. There was a song Luther Vandross back in the day. It's called Creep. Creep, 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 creep. That was one of those things. They out there creeping. We be riding around Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a very small town. We'll see chicks coming out of these, apartment buildings and coming out of houses. We're like, oh, I see you creeping. You know what I mean? We wouldn't say nothing because I'll be creeping too. So it ain't like I ain't gonna tell on you. You don't tell on me. Right? So it's this, human nature is human nature. You know what I mean, brother? As they were married for a visa, though. Oh, okay. I don't, allegedly, man. I don't know anything about all that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Visas, boy. I'm telling you, I had a Canadian woman. This was in LA. She was like a Canadian woman and a woman from India. This was, back in Cincinnati, man. Back in the late 80s, early 90s. No, early mid 90s. It was the mid 90s. I was young. You know what I mean? She was like, I'll marry you for a passport. Let me go talk to my pops. I was young. And then again, that happened in LA. Just one chick was like, she was serious. I was joking about it. I was doing a show and I was talking about people getting married for passports or whatever, just trying to work it into a routine. I couldn't quite find the funny in it. I just couldn't. So I let it go. But she heard that and she came up to me like, yo, you serious? I would, I could pay you like $20,000. And she was serious as a heart attack, y'all. I couldn't even joke about it. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. That's how bad people want to get into America, man. They'll squeeze themselves into trucks. They'll, run through the desert to get in here. They'll marry strangers. Let you know something about America, man. That's the reason these people are coming in here, risking life and limb to get into this country. Snuggle T, could someone pay you $500 million to put another man's phallus in your mouth? Yes or no? And please explain. Absolutely not. It's all about who you are. As a man. No, that's not something. I'm not about that. I'm not about that. You get these offers in Hollywood a lot. Like you've heard of the Harvey Weinsteins and all that. Like he got Me Too, but there's a lot of dudes out there who make these offers to men, and these men take it all the time in Hollywood, literally and figuratively. They take it. You know what I mean? So, and it's not even $500,000 neither, or $500 million either. It's a role. You know what I mean? In a B movie. That casting couch is real, and there's a lot of dudes on the casting couch with male producers, like straight up. So it depends on who you are. I'm not doing that, but I'm not built that way. There's some other people who would do that. You know what I mean? They'll do it. They don't care. That's what they want. They'll compromise themselves for it. I won't. And I ain't knocking those who do. If you want to compromise yourself in that way, knock yourself out. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. Is it worth it? Is that career worth it? You know what I mean? You look at someone like Jennifer Lopez and, her alleged history. She has to look at herself in the mirror every day. You know what I mean? Is it worth it? I'm pretty sure she would say, yeah. She's married to a guy that she wants to be married to. He's a high value man. She's making all kind of money. She's still an attractive woman. She still has clout, right? They're like, so what about her history? So what? I smashed my way to the top. She's at the top. You know what I mean? So that's her. I know women who wouldn't do that. I know women was like, nah, I'm not gonna sleep with a guy just to get a promotion. I'm not gonna sleep with a guy just to get food. Like there are girls out here right now. They'll sleep with a dude, just because you took them to Cheesecake Factory, man. For real. It's not even like you gotta take them to a real restaurant. You can take them to Cheesecake Factory, bro, and they smash you in the car. You know what I mean? So it depends on that individual. You know what I mean? Black man unfiltered, kissing your woman after your homeboy penis been in there. Crazy shit. It is, man. There's people who don't care. There's people out there who don't care, man. They get off on that, man. To each their own. You know what I mean? And Snuggle T, how much was the fee to get married? She wanted to pay me $20,000 to marry her. If that's what you're referencing, she wanted to pay me $20,000 to marry her. And I'm like, nah, no thanks. Very attractive woman, Canadian. I mean, she was fine, thick, fine. I didn't know they made them like that in Canada. I'm like, I got to go visit Canada. You know what I mean? And Brother Dusto, yeah, scams likely. There's always work at the post office. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can go to work at Perkins. I could be a short order cook before I do all that, man. I ain't doing that. And brother Nez, depends on how much a man values money. If he needs it to pay out family medical bills, I'm sure most will. Maybe that's just something I can't do, bro. Before I do that, before I let another man do something with me sexually, I'll go back to my street tactics, man. I'll go back and hit some licks. You know what I mean? I'll go back and do what I got to do. I'd rather risk prison time than compromise myself like that. And I know what you're thinking. Well, dude, if you go to prison, somebody's probably going to take it to you. The booty bandits might take it from you. Here's what it is, man. You got to get yourself ready for all that. Got to get yourself ready. So, yeah, I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that at all. So that was Desitny. That like I said, I respect the dude. His debating skills are off the chain. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Let's see, 256. We'll jump ahead a little bit, and here there was Andrew Tate was talking about the Queen has died. So we're talking about the Queen of England dying, and Tate's giving his thoughts on that, and they were kind of talking about a world without England. Like the colonizers being colonists and colonizing the world and all that. A world without England, and Tate and Sneako kind of got into this a little bit. So let's watch real quick.
Actually, a shame when you talk about England, because now the Queen's died. I feel like all the good things about England have died with her.
Oh shit!
Not to be like pessimistic and sad on this stream, but all the beautiful things about England and all the things about the royal family and tradition, etc., is all gone along.
You really sad about the Queen dying?
100%, bro.
You don't think the kids and like fucking each other's cousins?
Oh
You don't
my
think,
God, bro.
You don't think the Queen was an OG?
No, Sneako's gone off way more like on the conspiracy side, I think, than like where Tate is. That's gonna be my guess. I would actually, you know what I would love to do? I don't think I can do this. I don't think they would be up for it. I would fly to Romania for this. If I could do an interview with Sneako and Andrew Tate and ask them both questions and make them talk to each other. Because I think in a way, now I am reading really hard into this, and I don't know enough, and I could be really wrong because I haven't watched enough of Andrew Tate's stuff. But in a way, Andrew Tate might be marketing red pill stuff that I think is kind of okay, but people like Sneako are the result of reading it the wrong way. And it would be really interesting to force them to both reconcile their differences of opinions, where it's like, okay, Tate, you say things like this, and people like me say that when you say stuff like that, people are going to take it like this. And now here's Sneako that believes this thing because he's heard you say that. Like, hash it out. That would be super interesting to see. Oh my God.
And, Destiny's a big time blue pill guy, right? Like, he's part of that world, very liberal. There's nothing wrong with that. But that point he made, I think, is a good point. Like, he would, Andrew Tate says a lot of stuff. Like, I agree with a lot of what Tate says, right? Because I think it through. Okay, I get what he's saying. You got to work hard. You got to, and especially by the end of this video, you'll see what I'm talking about. I agree with a lot of his tenets, but he goes off on tangents. And it's those tangents that I think are not good. There's a lot of times I'm scratching my head like, bro, I wish you didn't say that. I wish you hadn't said that. I wish you hadn't said that. Now there's freedom of speech. You can say what you want to say, right? It's all good. But I'll sit back, and what Desitny is saying, especially about like Sneako, like, you got some young guys out there, and Jay Swans and I were having this conversation today. You got some young guys out there who will take all this information at face value. All these words that are coming out from the manosphere, from the Tates, from the Myron Gaineses of the world, you know what I mean? From, all these red pillars. They'll take this stuff at face value. Yeah. It just beat their chest, and it's like, nah, bro, you have to see the truth in there. There's some truth in there somewhere, but some of that stuff, man, it's for entertainment values to get you to watch, so you can get this message. Like I said in some of the episodes with when I was breaking down some of the Tate stuff, it's medicine that's wrapped in sweets. And the sweets is them all this, I'm in a relationship and I'm spinning plates, and it's open on my side and closed on her side, and I'm never getting married, and all this other stuff. It's like, come on, man, you gotta be able to push through some of that. So yeah, I would love to see that myself, because Destiny's right. There are people out there like this young Sneako. He's out there, and you're gonna see it here in this. They're gonna go back and forth, and like, Tate's like, not that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this, which I thought was fascinating. You know what I mean? Brother Jason, I'll buy the Foxy chick for a promotion, but I'm dusty. I I don't count. Here's the thing, man. Like that sort of thing is, I guess I'm sexist, but if an attractive woman wants me to do some sexual things to her in exchange for a promotion or something, I'll probably do it too. I wouldn't do it if she's like nasty though, bro. Like, and I guess that's sexist. So you know what I mean? So it almost isn't the same. You know what I mean? Plus that woman couldn't overpower me. You know what I mean? So you have women out there who in history have been overpowered. Like, they get into situations. It's just like, what are they going to do? The guy decides to just grab them and just force himself on her. What can she do? If she's not heated, she don't have any pepper spray or whatever, or, you know what I mean? It's not the same. It's not the same. And if it's definitely not the same if your male boss came to you, was like, bite my cheek, bro, for this. You ain't doing that, cuz. I can tell you that right now. I know you ain't doing that. I hope you're not. If you do, that's fine. To each his own. But nah, bro. Black man unfiltered. I saw a video if the queen throwing food on the ground to Haitians. What? You saw a video of the queen of England throwing food on the ground to Haitians? Word? Man, send me that video, bro. That's crazy. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Probably did. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Yes. Please hit the like button and share the video. Yeah, we're almost there. The view count's way up, y'all. We're just gonna keep pushing forward. We're almost there. Especially with those shorts. I got to do some more shorts. I'll be doing that tonight. Put some more shorts out there. People tend to like that. You know what I mean? Brother, and as homophobia, transphobia is sexist. We don't care about gay chicks and trans males. Could be. I'm gonna talk about that towards the end of this episode as well. So yeah, hang around to the end. Brother Canardak, what's good, bro? How you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. What up, DL? It's been a minute. Just popping in before heading to work. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, we in here talking about Desitny and Andrew Tate and them. So let's get back to the video. Let's see, where are we? 410. So I got to move this up a little bit to 423. There was something around 423 that I wanted to talk about. Let's see what it is.
But maybe I'm naive, but I think that a lot of the true degeneracy that you see in the world is semi-modern. And I don't think that Queen Elizabeth, who was alive and driving trucks during World War II.
Yeah.
Damn.
During World War II, she was driving trucks.
I don't know if people realize that, but that's a true statement. That's a fact. During the Blitz, Parliament and the English people wanted the royal family to relocate to Canada to be safe. And the king, who was, recently crowned king, didn't want to do it. It was like, no, we're going to stay here. We're going to face the threat with our people. Now, I get it that the royals are just figureheads. They wield no political power, but people believed in the monarchy, especially back then. So that was very brave of them to stay. You got to understand during that time, I guess, go check out the Foxtrot Sierra podcast because he talks about World War II a lot. You talk about the Blitz. You talk about what Germany did and how close they came to taking Britain. They almost did it. I mean, they were this close to taking Britain, and the royal family refused to leave. Queen Elizabeth then was Princess Elizabeth. And she joined like all the other, citizens, like everyone else. She and here's my thing about the royal family. They all joined the military. Yeah, they're royals and they got all that money and they got the royal family jewels and all that kind of stuff. But all of them joined the military. They really joined. It's not like, they get to go do the royal military. Like, nah, all of them joined. So the princess joined. She was in the army. She was in the auxiliary. She did drive trucks. That was dangerous. The Luftwaffe was always in the sky dropping bombs, right? They were dropping bombs all the time. The royal family could have been hit in those raids during the Blitz. They stayed. So I got to give them credit for that, man. I don't see American leadership doing that shit. You figure, like, again, most presidents in the United States, especially in modern time, never joined, never served. Right? Going back to that era. Let's see. So there was FDR. He was handicapped. Right? There was Truman. I'm not sure if Truman served prior to his term in office. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I would have to look that up. But after that, it was like Eisenhower, right? So, he was commanding general. So you had Ike, then you had JFK. He served in the Navy. right? Then you had Lyndon Baines Johnson. He served in the Navy. I want to say, who came after that? Was it Nixon? Nixon served in the Navy. Yes, Nixon served in the Navy. Or was it I think he had shore duty. He was either in the Navy or the Marine Corps, but Nixon served, he was like in supply. So you had Nixon, right? Then you have Ford. Ford was in the military. I want to say he was in the Army, right? Then, I mean, it goes on. You had Carter. Carter served in the Navy, right? You had Reagan. Reagan couldn't serve. I think they deemed him 4F or something like that. He couldn't serve, but he was part of this Hollywood military thing. He made training videos and stuff like that for the military. In fact, they did a video. They did a training video, and they actually created a simulation of the bomb run that the Enola Gay, and Enola Gay is the B-52 that dropped. Was it a B-52? Not a B-52. I forget, but the Enola Gay dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima. So the training videos that they used, those pilots used to navigate, Reagan had a hand in that. And but Reagan couldn't join, but he wanted to. And then you kind of go through, from that point forward, not a lot, Clinton didn't serve, Trump didn't serve. Let me see, both Bushes served. Obama didn't serve. Biden didn't serve. So you look at like American leadership, and that's where we are right now, bro. Like, compare that to the royals who have no real political power. They can't do anything, but they all served in their military. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to side note that, put that in there. I respect the royal family for just that alone. At least they get out there and they serve. Brother Jason, is the face value better when staying stuck in the blue? The tape must be over exaggerated to combat the feminist norm. No, I think they go hard to get the core audience. I don't think Tate cares about the feminists. I don't think he cares about, mainstream media. I don't think he cares about the blue pill world. Tate goes hard to get the red pillars. He goes hard. I mean, and it's worked. Look where he got him. You know what I mean? He's very entertaining, very charming, right? He can hold a conversation, very smart dude, right? He has the credentials. I think he goes hard and says those over the top things to get that red pill world. And look at Hustlers U, Hustlers University, look at the War Room, right? It's paid off. Even getting canceled, paid off. All that stuff he was saying about women can't drive and, women are property and all this other kind of stuff that he's been saying has been twisted around. And, it's not, we did a video on that when we talked about what he really said versus what he was accused of saying. But it all still served him well, right? I mean, the bottom line is money, right? Getting that market share, which he has. Black Man on Felcher, that's the link of the Queen. Is it a link there? All right, I'm going to find it. I'm going to check that out too, man. Like, she was throwing food on the ground for Haitians. That's terrible. That's terrible. But let's see, where we at? We are 8:26. No, that's not right. So let's continue. Let's see where this goes.
Trucks.
Insane.
She was in the army in World War II, and she's been through all this shit since the 30s. I don't think she didn't love her country. And I don't think that the world and the whole Commonwealth, because England was in charge of the Commonwealth, the whole Commonwealth wasn't unified behind her. And I think that the royal family's lost its prestige. Now she's died. Nobody gives a fuck about Charles. It's over now. And the world we live in now, a lot of the problems with the world is because we're losing our traditions and we're losing our older ways of thinking. And I'm not saying that the elites, what I think about the elites, what I think. And I know you can lump the royal family in there with them. I get it. But having a monarch for 70 or 80 years who was there during the war, and she's been there the whole time, and she was in charge of not just England, the entire Commonwealth, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, African countries, all this shit, India.
And when he says in charge, it means, she was the figurehead for all of the Commonwealth, and they had royal duties that took them all over the place. And the British people paid for this. So when they took out the royal yacht, it was taxpayer money to pay for that, to pay for the crew, to pay to maintain that stuff. You know what I mean? When they fly around, they on their private jets or whatever, that's British people's money, mostly. when they're going on official duties. And then, of course, they have their own money. So if they want to just get on a private jet and take a vacation, you know what I mean, to whoever, the Maldives, you know, they have their own jet. But, you know, again, they're not a real, you know, they can't levy taxes. They can't create laws. They have parliament for that. They don't run the country. The prime minister does. Everything else is just pomp and circumstance. But I get what Tate's trying to say. It's like, you know, it sounds to me that he respects the fact that she's taking her duties and people has looked to her for so long, and now she's gone. And, you know, like that whole thing might be gone along with it. Like that whole monarchy thing might be over.
She's a G. You can't say she's not a G. Queen Elizabeth II, she's a G.
OG.
You can't say she's a G.
He said OG. Sneako, this is your time to fight.
Definitely old.
She's an OG.
She's an OG, and now she's gone, and they're replacing her with this new guy. And I think a lot of the problems with the world today are all because of all the new think and the new things they're trying to replace things with. All the old traditional ways. We sit here and we all talk about masculinity. That's an old idea, and they're replacing it with a new idea. And what's the new idea? Trash. So when they get rid of the longest reigning monarch, and they said they're going to replace it with fucking some new dude, to me that's bad news. That's my personal view, anyway. Right.
She probably ate some kids though.
And then Sneako saying she probably ate some kids. It is crazy. And then this thing with Tate, you know what I mean? He seems to be real calm on this. Like he's not in character. But on this particular video, the back and forth, he really wasn't in character that much. I don't know if dude was tired or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, Jay Swans is in the building. What's good, bro? Just popping in to tell you folks how you believe the top G would beat Batman. And he's talking about Mayweather. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to have this talk, bro. We're going to have this talk. I already told everybody they can't comment on it until tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We're going to get into it, bro. You can have all your people, your Facebook hordes show up. You know what I mean? Your people up there where you at show up. We're going to have this discussion. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Well, I don't know.
She ate one baby.
You think so?
If
Andrew,
that happened, we
question.
wouldn't have no idea.
Diana, did she do it?
Ooh.
Well,
Should I be asking this question?
you can.
Yeah, and they kind of go into it. Even I'll let it play out.
Do you think she did it?
Did Queen
She is a G.
She is a G. Sometimes as a G, you got to get the talons out. I don't know. I don't know if she did it. All I know is that
I didn't even know this is a
think that
conspiracy theory. People think Queen Elizabeth killed
it's not
Princess
things. Can you
Diana.
correct my speech.
Yes, Destiny. People think that Queen Elizabeth has something to do with Princess Di's death. Okay, is it possible? Sure, anything's possible, but why? You know what I mean? It would have to be something serious behind the scenes to make someone do something like that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's true. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Princess Di was doing her thing. That was a terrible night. I put that squarely on the shoulders of the paparazzi. You know what I mean? Which is just, yeah, that's just terrible how they do what they do and get away with it, man. I'm not a fan of the paparazzi, never have been. But we'll, you know, I don't think the Queen had anything to do with that. But hey, who knows? Who knows? So let me just fast forward just a little bit. Let's see. There we go.
Good for the entire world as a whole. The world back then was different. I'm not saying colonization is a good thing. I'm saying that back then it was just empires. You were a part of an empire, one of them. That's how it worked. And she was the head of the Commonwealth for a very long time, and I was genuinely upset when the Queen died. Maybe it's the patriot in me, but I thought the Queen was a G.
Don't you think the natives deserve to celebrate her death?
Why would they?
The Native Americans, anybody who's suffered from colonization?
Did they? Well, this is a really interesting question
Uh-oh.
because you talk about suffering from colonization.
Or
If
did
you
they
look
do
at
better?
A lot of the.
Right.
Do you think India? Let me ask you the question then. Do you think India suffered? Do you think India is in a worse place now than it would have been if it was never colonized by the British?
Uh-oh.
Now, I'm not
And like, you know, this is, you know, Tate's having a good conversation with this young guy. You see right away that Sneako went to the Americas. He was like, what do you think the Native Americans should be happy about the Queen dying? And then Tate took it to India because Tate knew what he wanted. He knew what this guy was trying to say. You know what I mean? Like the Native Americans, I guess, could they be mad at the royals? Maybe. But I'm sure that their fight is with Americans. You know what I mean? The fight is with the British people who broke away from Great Britain, right? The original rebels. The colonists broke away. And then really, that's when the devastation really occurred to the Native American. It wasn't when the Brits were here, because you had some tribes who would side with Great Britain and some tribes who would side with France, and they were fighting these proxy wars and stuff like that. So you had some tribes who would side with the Spaniards, like the Spanish, early on, like the Spaniards landed like in Florida and stuff like that. So I don't think the Native Americans had a problem with Queen Elizabeth. They could care less. They got a problem with America, right? It's the good old USA to put them on reservations. It's the good old USA that put them on a Trail of Tears. That that put those blankets, right. The Americans were the first ones to use that form of chemical warfare in America and kill them off like that, to just decimate the Native American tribes. I mean, there's so many tribes that don't exist anymore. They were just eradicated. Americans did that, not the Queen. So, but Tate knew what Sneako was trying to get at, so he just kind of pivoted the conversation to India. So let's hear the rest of that.
I'm not saying the British didn't kill people. I'm not saying they were completely fair, but also the world was a different place back then. Nowhere was fair. If the British didn't turn up to India in the 1800s, then the Indians would have been killing the Indians. People just killed each other. That's how it worked, right? Do you think India would be in a better place today if it was never colonized by the British?
I mean, they're pooping in the streets right now.
What would they be doing if they didn't? The British didn't turn up. I mean, if you look at some of the biggest, best buildings in most of these countries, or some of the most critical infrastructure, it's the shit the British built 200 years ago to this day. And they had their liberation for a very long time, and they haven't managed to surpass the infrastructure the British built. Do you want to talk about why that is? I mean, I'm sure there's reasons, but my point is, the British turned up to a country. They ruled India with less than fucking 60,000 men. The Indians could have kicked their ass any time, but they turned up and they gave genuine value to the point people thought, okay, these white people turned up on this boat. They know shit. Oh, whoa, railroad. Whoa, okay. Whoa, schools. They didn't do it purely by force. India's a big place. They did it with a very small contingent. And they did.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on that. I mean, I get what he's saying. I just know I got to think about it. Or places like India, places in Africa, Pakistan, America, are these places better off because of the empires that colonized them, or what we had developed on our own to be better than we are today? Man, I don't know. I mean, I know this, my ancestors being sold into slavery. I mean, all the empires were involved in that, including the black empires. Like Rook was saying on some of the shows, that's my biggest problem with the Woman King. The Dahomey, probably more likely my family was sold into slavery by the Dahomey. So, sold to, the Portuguese or the Spanish or whoever, and shipped across the ocean and landed over here. And so my line begins anew there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But, were it not for the British in the late 1800s, that's who stopped slavery, was England. Right? They ran the blockades. They were able to, stop the slave trade. They stopped the Portuguese. They stopped the Spanish. Right? It was Great Britain who did that. So I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand on that one. Jay Swans, they not Facebook hoes. Don't make daddy his money. I'm all about them Graham bunnies. Okay. He's probably driving too, man. Brother, and that's L. Take there wasn't only empires. There was tribes and villages untouched till recently. Yeah, that's true. Africa was genocided by them. I can't side with him. My grandparents later lived the war, or literally lived the war. Yeah, man, that's a tough one right there, bro. Would the world be a better place without England, France, Spain, Portugal doing what they did? Would it be, would it have been a better place? I don't know. I mean, you can argue however you want to argue, but they did bring technology. But they also brought diseases. They brought slavery. They brought all these other things. Shit, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, but let's continue.
Did it by adding value. And yeah, the British were not people you want to fuck with, but they definitely added value to their colonies. And I know this is going to upset the whole fucking world. All the people are going to say I'm a colonist. This is a pretty diverse panel. I don't know.
Jesus. Algoman, so next to the $100. Seemed like you're working pretty hard on the content front recently. What is your timeline to start the media company? That's like in a back seat. I'll be able to talk more.
Yeah, I've decided. Nah, I'm not with Tate on this one. I'm not with Tate on this one. Yeah, I see where he's coming from with the technological. Well, y'all know I can't talk today. Advances, the advances in tech, the advances in infrastructure, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I don't think that had they not been left, like you look at these societies, if they've been left alone, and able to grow and all that kind of stuff, maybe they would have been able to trade and do other things. Shit, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind that one. Being descendant of slaves is kind of hard for me to get behind that one. You know what I mean? Brother Vikings in the house. What's good, bro? It's kind of hard for me to get behind that one. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, though. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We are here. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. We are here, right? We are Americans. Like, again, we are the only ones who have dropped the nukes on people to date.
More about stuff tomorrow, okay?
Where I come in on the brown scale, but it's a pretty
I know where I come in.
it's a pretty diverse panel. But the world was a dangerous place back then, and I think being under the British Empire afforded these countries a lot of security and safety and technological advancements, and I don't think it was all completely a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Barbados, so like we were colonized as well. But we got our independence as well. But Andrew, as a young man navigating the Matrix, where do you think somebody should live nowadays in terms of?
So then they turn the conversation to where you should live. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. See, 9:58. Because, it was a pretty good conversation. Yeah, brother, Ness, I agree with you, man. Especially that point about social media is ruining the world, for example. It is. It's, I agree with you there, brother. Casual Germs in the house. What's good? Salute to you, brother. Appreciate that. So, in this part right here, they were talking about where you should live, and Sneako was saying maybe live if you have a lot of money, maybe live in Eastern Europe. And Desitny has some words on that.
Croatia, I think sounds good. Albania, Romania, obviously, but most
why?
people can't answer that question.
But why?
Everything you say about Eastern Europe, about the traditional values, about the lack of feminist indoctrination, about the web.
No offense, and I don't mean any offense by this, of course. But I don't think super wealthy people want to go and live in Eastern Europe. No, like, again, no offense, but like, what?
Weather is nice, things are cheap.
I agree with him. I'm not trying to live there. Why? You know what I mean? There's so many other places I would choose to live before I would live in Eastern Europe. Why? You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with Desitny on this one.
People are nice.
Girls are skinny.
Girls are skinny. We saw one, but they're
Right? It is what it is, but that's not where I would be given the choice. The world's my oyster and money's no object. I'm not there. You know what I mean? I would have a bunch of houses all over the world. I wouldn't have any homes, any property in Eastern Europe. And if I did, it would be strictly business. I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Not when I can be in Japan. I could be in South Korea. I could be in the Philippines. I could be in Canada. I could be, you know what I mean? So I could be in Spain. I could be in Greece. You know what I mean? I could be in Germany. I guess so many places I would go before I would go to Eastern Europe. I'm like, I'm going to live here. But I say all that having not been. Maybe I'll go visit. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll go to Romania. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll go to Poland, go over there and fall in love. I know it's some beautiful architecture and stuff like that over there. The culture is great. You know, who knows? Who knows? But I don't think I would just do that. You know what I mean? Like Brother Ness is like, yeah, language, culture, racism. But you're gonna find that everywhere. Like you're gonna find some form of racism or classism or whatever, no matter where you go. So if you got that kind of bread, you know, that money will smooth over a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? But it's always gonna be there. You can't change what's in someone's heart. But let's see, 1334. They were talking. Oh, this is the part. Yes, look at this part real quick.
But how? Okay, when people say Miami is the best city in America, is that like a huge? I don't want to say self-report. It's not like bad, but is the person basically just saying I really like going to clubs? Is that really all they're saying? Because I don't know why the fuck else you would think that Miami is the best city in America.
Now, this is where I disagree with Desitny 100%. Y'all know I'm a big fan of Miami. I lived in Miami at one point, lived there for 3 years. I will more than likely be living there again once my daughter's out of high school. It's great. Now, yes, you can go out there and get, like, you can do that club scene, you can do that South Beach thing, you can do all that, right? That world is there. But that's a very, very small part of the Miami, like Dade, Broward community, right? Because you got Homestead, you got Kendall, you got Doral, right? Up north, you got like Las Olas area, Fort Lauderdale, you have Miramar, Pembroke Pines. The people down there in all these places I just named, very family oriented, very nice people. They do things with family. Like you go out to the park and the entire family is out there having a good time. You go support your kid in sports, be it soccer, basketball, baseball, whatever. Entire families are there. I mean, Miami is great for that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Very heavy Latin culture. I get that. I mean, there's some other cultures there, but very heavy Latin. But I'm telling you, man, some of the best people I've ever come across, man, I come across them in Miami. You want to just go get invited to a house party, man, and the food and the fun and cigars and the stories and, the kids are out having fun. It's amazing, man. Like the Hollywood, the way that the Latin culture celebrates Christmas and stuff like that, it's like a family thing. New Year's and Christmas, like it's like a big family thing, man. So there is so much more to Miami, to Dade and Broward County, that Miami-Dade area. There's so much more than just the club scene. You know what I mean? South Beach and Midtown and Wynwood and Brickell. There's so much more than that. And the people are cool. I got a video about that. Me in Miami, dating in my 50s or whatever. I had that video and I was talking about they playing fair in Miami. Walking around Miami, bro, I'm telling you, just as a guy, you walking around, all the women are beautiful. All the women are beautiful. There's like a whole nother scale to beauty when you go into a place like Miami. I've been to the big cities, a lot of big cities around the world, especially in this country. Ain't nothing touching Miami when it comes to just beauty, feminism. Yeah, you got your ratchet chicks down there. You got that. That's always going to be a thing, right? You got that. But you have so many really cool women down there. Just walking around, making eye contact, you know what I mean? Saying hello. Just so easy to talk to these women. Like, hey, how you doing? You literally just have to say hi and you're into a conversation, unless you're a weirdo. Weirdos have a hard time everywhere. But down there, you can strike up a conversation. I mean, every time I'm down there, I'll be walking around. I don't drive. You know what I mean? I'm walking around Brickell, wherever I need to go. I'm in Brickell, or I take an Uber somewhere, and I'm sitting there at a crosswalk, waiting across the street, and here's a beautiful woman walking up right next to me. Compliment her nails or something like that. Boom, we're into a conversation. I remember once I was walking down the street, and there's a woman coming the other way, so she would move this way, and I would move that way. Like, and we wanted to just we almost bumped into each other. We're both laughing and everything. You know what I mean? She said something funny. I said something funny. Have a good day. She's like, you have a good day. That was a great moment. I don't have any stories like that in LA. I don't have any stories like that in New York. None, not even close. You know what I mean? Same scenario plays out in LA. The chick has an attitude. You know what I mean? She's saying hateful stuff to you. Like she's on it's just weird. I got so many stories in Miami like that. So no, man, I agree. Like Miami's probably, it's one of the best places, certainly in America, that I've been to. That you you go to flyover country, probably find some good places. Hell, Grayling, Michigan's a great place. There's great people up there, but it's Grayling, right? You know, you go Sault Ste. Marie, you know what I mean? Like, that's up there. Muskegon, Michigan's a great place. I mean, there's tons of great places. I'm pretty sure Walla Walla, Washington's a great place. You know what I mean? If you want to go to Walla Walla, I only say Walla Walla because I used to always hear that on Bugs Bunny. But flyover country is cool, but flyover country is nothing to do. It's boring. Like Oklahoma was boring. Good people, but boring. It was football. You know what I mean? That's it. Basketball, they're doing good, but it was really football. You know what I mean? But Miami, something special, y'all. I've always been a fan of Miami from the very first time I went down there, and for the reasons I just stated. So yeah. You know what I mean? Desitny, yeah, man. And you live down there, bro. Like, come, go to Doral, man. Like, go to Doral. You know what I mean? Get invited to some house parties, bro. They're not really open to, your relationship, so keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? But go enjoy the food. Go dance, you know what I'm saying? Some salsa, buchata, all that kind of stuff, man. Like, go have fun because that's the thing there. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Miami. I just wanted to throw that in there because I saw that. I'm like, nope. That's when I really wanted to have this talk. I'm like, no, nah, nah, bro. Let me continue. It goes on to 14:30. He has some more stuff to say.
Other than you like clubs and the beach. And maybe bimbo pussy, I guess.
To me,
Yes,
it
you-
feels godless.
It is. That's why I
It
left.
just feels godless. When I'm in Miami, I'm just like, not New York, Miami. I'm like, this is fun, but it just feels. Where's God? God ain't here. This hoe, that hoe.
Yeah, and I don't agree with Tate there. Yeah, it feels godless when you down in South Beach and when you doing that party scene, you doing the boat parties, you doing all that kind of stuff, you doing that VIP stuff. Yeah, it can feel that because I'm telling you, these women bout it. When you pull up in there, if you in a VIP type situation, you on somebody's yacht, you know what I mean, or you're at some VIP event where people know like you got to be somebody to get in there. Yeah, I bet you it does feel like Solomon and Gomorrah because these women are about it. They talking about getting it on right there. They'll go grab your stuff and pull it out under the table, bro. They get crazy with it. Like, come on. And then you take them back to the telly. Man, please. It's them and their girl. They getting down like that. There's some women like that. I ain't talking about that part of Miami. I'm talking about all that other stuff. The regular folks, the hardworking people. I'm talking about that part of Miami. You know what I mean? So, you know, I can see where he gets that from. Like, it's godless. Not all of Miami. South Beach, the party scene. That's what they're talking about. Brother, and that's MLD said yesterday Japan have a lot of racism. Absolutely. The Japanese people are very closed people. Like, they're not too keen on outsiders, period. You know what I mean? But you need to understand that when you go, and you can earn their respect. If they respect you, it's on. They're not going to treat you any sort of way. If they respect you, it's on. If you're a respectable person, you're going to be good. Again, if you're a weirdo, a lot of Americans go over there. People don't realize how weird we are as Americans. The average American is weird as fuck. You know what I mean? So you go to a place like Japan or South Korea or the Philippines for that matter, or Vietnam or Laos, you know what I mean, Cambodia, and you weird, they're going to stay away from you. They're going to sense that immediately. You know, a lot of people take that as some sort of racism. But there is racism in Japan. It is. But again, I think a lot of those people, they earn that shit, bro. You know what I mean? And where the cost of living, networking, in Japan, I had a great time in Japan. I can't wait to go back. Never had any problems. The people, the locals were really cool. You know, again, you're going to get that look. They're going to kind of look at you. It depends on how you present yourself, how you interact with these folks, and they see you're a cool person, man. They're going to show you. They'll show you the real Japan. They'll take you around, like, you know, but you got to be aware of the culture and know how to handle yourself, man. Don't, you know what I mean? Like, don't be a weirdo, man. You know what I mean? You got to understand the culture, know where you at. Be ready to accept this hospitality if they give it to you. If they extend this hospitality to you, you have to be able to, you know, ready to accept it. Learn a little Japanese. Learn how to bow. You know what I mean? Learn these things before you go. And I promise you, your experience will be different. But is there racism? Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Casual germ, Japan is a homogenous country. When in Rome, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, he's like, now I'm at the Miami question. Oh, where the cost of living, networking. Yeah, all that. The weather's amazing. You got to look out for hurricanes. You can get out of the way. The networking opportunities are absolutely there. The cost of living, it depends on where you're coming from, but compared to New York and LA, San Francisco, San Diego, stuff like that, compared to the other high cost of living or other big cities, Miami cost of living ain't that bad. You know what I mean? Again, South Beach, Brickell, Wynwood, those places are expensive. But when you come out of there, when you get into parts of Doral, you know, you get into Homestead, Kendall, and then going up north, it's not that bad. Be honest with you, bro, it's not that bad. I lived in Kendall. I'm sorry, I take that back. I lived in Brickell, but I also lived in Miramar. It's a very small commute, really easy commute right up the turnpike or down the turnpike, depending on how you want to, you know, look at it. It wasn't bad at all. Cost of living was not that bad at all. Plus, I can get over to, you know, Las Olas and kind of kick it over there. I can get to Fort Lauderdale and do the beaches over there. I rarely went to South Beach. I'm not a beach person to begin with, but I just don't like South Beach. You know what I mean? But if if your life revolves around these high cost of living places, like you going to Fontainebleau, you know what I mean? You like to live and all that. You going to all the big clubs and all that. Yeah, you're going to be spending bread. You living down there. Yeah, you're going to be spending top dollar on your, you know, your home, your condo, your whatever. But if you just willing to commute just a little bit, you're gonna save a lot of money, man. So I'm a big fan. As y'all can see, I'm a big fan.
I'm just like, where's God? He forgot about Miami. I don't know. It just feels godless. Like, and maybe I'm getting old and boring, but I like to just see the traditional business run by the family and the hotel run by the family and the women going to church on a Sunday.
Then why the fuck would you say Miami is the best city in
Yeah, so let me continue.
in America? What are you talking about then?
And that's what I like about Houston.
And that's the end, like, so yeah, you know, again, I like Miami, and there's, you know what I mean, but the lifestyle they talking about, I wouldn't recommend that lifestyle. It's costly, and you know, the people are, you know, fake. It's like a baby Hollywood. It's not as bad as Hollywood. Hollywood's horrible. You know what I mean? It's not that bad, but it's like you know, it's like junior high to Hollywood's. You know, Hollywood being college, Miami would be like junior high. They think they're doing it, but they ain't doing it. When they go to LA, and I've had this conversation with folks, and they're like, nah, you know, we just like LA. We better than LA. All right. And that person will move to LA for a couple years and then come back. Like, yeah, bro, you was right. LA fucked up. Like, I tried to tell you. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother kind of thing out there. Snow T, what's the difference between hurricanes and a typhoon? Hurricanes come and destroy everything when it touches. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Tap, but I'm pretty sure typhoons are just out at sea. You know what I mean? They're like vortex, like, you know, but they don't carry the kind of punch that a hurricane, especially like the one that just hit us, you know, here in Central Florida, you know what I mean? A Cat 5 hurricane, like it blew a bridge out. It blew a bridge down. Like the hurricane blew a bridge down. It's going to take them years to fix this bridge. It completely blew out the bridge. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, don't quote me on that. Rook would be able to answer that better, but Rook is busy. So yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the club thing. Like like I say, I don't agree with that part of it. So there's a part I want to jump to at the 25-minute mark. They were talking about money, which I think is pretty good. I'm gonna try to zip through this. What is it? 25 minute. Boom. There it is. Do that. So let's listen to this part right here.
I want to tell all the people out there who are grinding and hustling to get cash. Yeah, you need it, but there really isn't that much to buy or do, right? I can give everyone.
I feel like this is more true than most people know. Like when you hit like this 200 to 250,000 a year, like income, like you can travel more and maybe you can have a bigger house. Do you really give a fuck? And then past that, you need like $100 million to have like fucking jets and shit. But I don't really know. There's huge gaps of stuff you can do between like making 20K a year and 50K a year, or 50K a year and 100K a year. And then I think like from 100 to 200 to 300K a year, there are jumps past like 200 or 300K. Like, I don't know if your life is changing that much. Like if you're making 250K a year, like that's awesome. If you're making $1 million a year, I don't think $1 million a year guy is buying yachts or private jets. Maybe you can rent trips on them. You can probably do that at 250K a year if you're saving, if you're budgeting. But like, yeah, I don't know. There's not like I
agree with Desitny 100%. That's real talk. And to people who don't have that kind of money, it's like, no, man. There are levels to it. There are levels to it. Before I got into the FAA, man, I never made over $30,000 a year. For the 4 years I was out of the Army, I never made over 30 grand. And I've never worked harder in my life. I had my primary job, I had my side hustle, and I had 2 full-time jobs and a side hustle, and I never made over $30,000 a year. Right? And I still have my own place. I live with my cousin, and I have my own place. I was still out there, being a man, trying to do the work, but I was exhausted. Never made that kind of bread. Got into the FAA, and within a year or so, I was over 6 figures. So I go from barely making, never making over 30 grand to making over 6 figures. Huge difference. Huge difference. I was making all that money, and I wasn't working nearly as hard as I was when I was only making 30 grand. So, and as far as what that money could do, yeah, you could do a lot, man. Like, you're not worried about, you driving whatever you want to drive. You making 6 figures. You living wherever you want to live for the most part. I was in LA and I was still getting it, still living. I mean, your biggest concern is taxes. Like, man, what do I need to do something about these taxes? Because I was getting eaten alive in taxes. And again, and then eventually I wound up getting another side hustle, and it was just fun. But the money, like money became less of an issue. Like, man, it's money. So that's at 100, 150,000 a year. Then you start jumping up to 250, 300, 500,000 a year, a million. Yeah, I think that million mark is when you really start doing things way different on the other side. That million mark, like, bro, like even if you're not trying, you're probably putting away $500,000 a year. You're not even touching. It's just you living on that 500, doing whatever you want. You got money all over the place. So they're absolutely right. And brother, that's like a typhoon is a tropical hurricane. Thanks, brother. There you go, Snuggles. You know what I mean? He'll be asking me stuff like I know. Y'all know I don't know stuff. I'm just an old man sitting in the attic talking on this computer. What do I know?
There's a reason I think why you see these guys like Tate come to the streaming world is because, like, yeah, having money is cool, but influence is like, that's what everybody really wants. I want to speak and have people listen to me.
Watching this stream, let's say you all had half a billion dollars, 500 million. You do a bunch of hedonistic bullshit. You'd get drunk a bunch, you fuck a bunch of girls, and you buy a bunch of cars, etc. And then you'd eat.
Brother, hey, I was in my young 30s. I was not my young 30s, mid 30s. When I hit that mark, I was in my mid 30s. But by the time I hit 40, I was, that's when I was really established. By the time I hit 40.
Either completely fall into the hedonistic trap and go down the gambling and drugs route and destroy your life. But if you keep your brain on and you stay sane, you start to realize that the most valuable things are staying in good shape, your health, looking after yourself, the simple things, spending time with people you love, and hanging with your boys. Hanging with your boys is the number one most interesting activity that's ever going to exist on the planet ever. It's the funnest thing there is to possibly do, to sit around in the room with your guys and talk shit. And that's what you said earlier about we could be in Indiana, just sitting there
fucking it up.
We can end up.
And I'm thinking about, I was 32, brother Hayoka, because he was like, how old were you when you started to make six figures? I was 32. And then, again, by the time I hit my 40s, I was really, I made a lot of mistakes. I could have done a lot better. And we'll talk about that later on in this episode.
Got broke in the Philippines with $25 in the bank, and we will laugh. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's all about the people who are around you. And there's something that's intrinsic to men. We definitely evolved with it. I think it's because we spent so much time either in groups,
I don't think this is unique to men, but
in armies or gangs or whatever we were doing. You just feel better when you're around people that you can trust with your life. And that's certainly the best thing about life. And yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, and I know what you guys are saying. But for me personally, the reason I stream is to try and find the other people out there who I might want to be friends with. Because when you're an exceptional individual, you're never going to meet friends in normal life. It's very rare. I don't know about you guys. I go through life and just meet a friend. Everyone I meet's a fucking idiot. It's crazy, right? So the internet, the best thing that's done for me is allow me to broadcast my message to people and find the other people out there with a fucking brain. And there's not that many. But yeah, hanging with your boys is certainly the best thing about life. To this day, with all the money and
hanging with your boys is the best thing about life, man. I get where he's coming from, but I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I look at my dudes who were married, like having their wife. The guys who did find the right person for them, and they've been able to make it work. They're some of the happiest people I've ever met. In my travels, just people who have they have a husband or a wife that they absolutely love and adore and respect, and they've gone decades. They tend to be some of the happiest people I've ever met. But for I think I'm listening to what Tate is saying. Yeah, if I was just rolling with my crew, I got 2 or 3 just my crew, like it's just us, and we're pushing each other and we're getting the bread. I could see that. Like, oh, this is just kind of cool. You got, women ain't the thing. You got women all over the place. Money ain't the thing. You got money all over the place. I could see that. I could see someone saying that, but you would think at some point that will get old. Like, you would like, I really would like to have a significant other. Most people think that. Most people like, what? I want to find they say soulmate and all this other kind of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know about that part of like, I'm just going to rock with my crew until the end. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Brother Hayoka, most men start making the money around that age. That's why I was asking. Yeah. If you do the work, that's pretty much when it comes. You got to grind though.
And the shit I can do, that I would rather be sitting in the war room with Tristan and Luke calling each other names than doing nearly anything else. It's the best thing there is to do.
Before Myron answers, can I ask you the question I asked you yesterday?
Sure.
How much do you do this now for money, and how much do you really care about waking people up?
Okay, so I don't need money anymore. Money to me truly has no value. And I say that, and people don't believe me because they understand that every rich person is trying to get more money because it's a game. Yeah, it's like getting a high score. But for me, truly, if someone were to walk in this room and put $25 million cash on this table, I have nothing to buy and my life would change zero. It doesn't mean anything. I don't need it, right? I like the fact that I can do what I do, and I like the idea of being able to do it forever. But this is not financially motivated for me. It is about expanding my influence. It is about expanding my network. It is about expanding my capabilities. It is about finding the other people out there who think the way I think. It is about having them in an environment where we can speak freely and openly. So to a degree, it's certainly about advancing the mission. I feel like I have a duty to God to speak the truth because I'm in a unique position where I can speak the truth and many can't. I like the idea that I get thousands and thousands of messages from people saying I've helped them with their mental health and helped them with their depression, etc. I like being a positive impact on the world. I like going to sleep with a pure heart and knowing that I'm good for the planet. But truthfully, I think everything you do, no matter what it is, has a selfish motivation. Even if you go and give money to charity today, you're doing it so you feel good.
Facts.
That's why you're doing it.
Yeah, brother Hayoka, you ready? Yeah, you're right. I mean, you get a lot of that. The false equivalencies, you get a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like when I'm watching the manosphere stuff, the red pill stuff, they're talking about dudes. So then it's not that they're hating on women. They're just not talking to women. They're talking to dudes. So I'm with you on that, bro. Miss AKA Lady is in the house. What's good, love? Welcome. Thanks for coming through. We're just watching Desitny react to Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, and Sneako.
Everything is selfishly motivated. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a philanthropist. I feel good when I help people. That's why I do it. It's not just about helping them. It's also because of how I feel. And also when I meet interesting people and I get good friends and powerful individuals join the war room, for example, that benefits me massively. Now my network's expanded. So it's certainly selfishly motivated, but it's not money. And yeah, I think there's inside of every single man, there's definitely a rebel. There's definitely a warrior. It doesn't matter if you were a punk rock rebel in the 70s or you were one of the rebels of Rome who just said, fuck this, let's go burn it. There's something inside of you that's a bit of a rebel. And if you're a red-blooded male and you see the world we live in today and how the Matrix is suppressing us all, you want to rebel. And I think part of it is, yes.
I can see a part of that. The whole rebelling thing, sometimes you're forced to rebel. You have to, your situation forces you to get out there and do some shit. So that money part, I definitely agree with. You know what I mean? Like if you getting money, like for real, if you got $10 million liquid, I always use that number. If you got $10 million liquid money, like it's yours. We ain't got to pay no tax. That's yours. You got 10 million. You're living a good life, bro. Like you're moving the way you want to move. You're doing what you want to do. You're making more moves. You're making more money. It's a difference. So if you're sitting on 10 million liquid and someone comes in like, well, I'm gonna give you $25 million. Here's $25 million. You're not impressed by the money. Like you good on the money. All right, what's up? You know what I mean? Like you like right away. Like I don't feel like doing that. Or nah, I'm not. I don't like you. I get bad vibes or whatever. Like you're not a good person. I'm not gonna deal with you. Whatever. You start looking for angles. Like why is this guy dropping $25 million on the table? If you got yours, you ain't worried about it. It's that mindset. The same mindset you need when you out there womanizing. You know what I mean? Like what did Tupac say, man? And I get around like you just met me. I don't want it if it's that easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it easy. I don't want it if it's that easy. Like that. You have that mindset. Like, I understand the true value of this cash, this plot. What's going on here? This could be a front. Well, I'm looking at this pile of money. They might be circling around to take what I really done already earned. So I understand what he's saying about the money stuff. You know what I mean? I do. Snuggle T, I like the fact that he's admitting giving away money and it stems from selfishness because making yourself happy because you did something for somebody good is still because of what you feel. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, people probably do that stuff. Yeah. A lot of people do not understand selfishness, but doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It can also be a good thing. Okay, good point. You know what I mean? But I think people paid attention to him when he said that about selfishness and the good it did for other people because it made him feel good. Yeah, and it's pretty much what he just said. It made him feel good. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit. They were talking about They were continuing to talk about money. I'm trying to find that spot right now. Hopefully I didn't pass it. And if I did, oh well. You got to push forward. 3806. Bam. No.
I think that people who can garner attention are going to be good at making money one way or another. I think we now live in a world where you have spectators and you have people who produce. The world is split in a binary divide between the two. And not everybody is designed to be a producer. Some people are designed to be a spectator. If I was, obviously I am a producer naturally by heart because I've lived a very diverse life. I have a lot to say and I consider, it doesn't matter what I consider. People consider my words valuable, obviously. So here I am. But if I was a spectator, let's say, and I didn't feel like I had the confidence or the knowledge or the charisma to sit on a camera and interest people, then I would try my very best to prove myself useful to a creator. And by joining their ecosystem and working alongside them, that's probably the best and easiest way to make money.
So Sneako asked, if you were a young guy, what's the best way to make money? And this was part of the beginning of Andrew Tate's answer. He was like, we live in this attention economy now. Like you have people who called them producers, people who produce, and you have people who don't necessarily produce, but they are systems kind of people. They know how to support the producer. So he was basically saying, go out there, find somebody. If you're not a producer, go out there and find someone who is, and somehow add value to that person, and you will make money by helping that person make money. So that's what he was saying. And then it continues.
A whole bunch of people out there that have the star factor, but they don't have the systems and the teams around them to truly be successful. So I would come along and say, listen, you can be the showman. I'll be the blood and guts underneath, and we can do very, very well. I truly still believe, as fucked as the world is with the Matrix and the suppression and the inflation and the Fed and all the shit we talk about, if you're a person who can turn up on time with a firm handshake, who is genuinely competent, who doesn't lie to anybody, you're going to be fine.
That's a Desitny take. Yo, I'll vibe off that 1,000,000%. The one thing that you can always do in life, you can be the most worthless, retarded, crippled, fucked dude, like ADHD, whatever the fuck, every problem. If you can be a guy that always shows up 5 minutes early and you are dependable, you're reliable, you're like, get shit done like in a timely manner, and you're communicative, you are so far ahead of so many people. I've said this so many times. You can ask Cake, you can ask Jader, you can ask Mr. Moot, you can ask Dan. There have been a lot of premium talent people that I've worked with. And then there have been like middling talent people. And if you can respond to an email within 24 to 48 hours, if you can deliver on a deadline, if you can communicate really well, you are so much better to work with than like the struggling schizophrenic artist who's like an amazing artist, but they're not reliable. They don't communicate. They'll go months without returning an email that you can't keep track of it all. Like being a person that's just like 5 minutes early everywhere and is ruthlessly dependable is so fucking good. That is such a good skill to have. Holy.
And I agree with that 100% as well. I mean, just looking back on my life, I got a lot of things out of life by being on time, by actually being early. Because if you're on time, you're late. I'm always there early. Knowing how to shake someone's hand, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to step up and speak up and say stuff. I mean, I've done well in life just from having that skill set. Being dependable, being the guy that they know, like, hey, if we get Saint on this, man, he's going to do what he said when he said it. I got a lot out of that, right? And brother, it's like he called them wages. You know, I spent my whole life, my whole professional career, I was a wagey, man. I went from the low end to the high end, right? As an air traffic controller, bro, it was all based on wages, man. Like, yeah, it's a skill. Absolutely is a skill, but I can only make so much. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about this in a little bit, having that entrepreneurial spirit. You know what I mean? There's a lot to that. You know what I mean? Primal Studies is in the house. What's good? What is good, bro? Welcome. The best ability is availability. 100%, bro. 100%. I agree with everything they were just saying. I agree with what you're saying right there.
Holy shit.
Never going to starve. You're always going to be able to make good money if you're a genuinely honest, hardworking person.
Yep.
I've never met a honest, hardworking person who will be there at 9 a.m. like you asked him to be, who completely fails at life. So I think a lot of people who are still out here failing, they have a bunch of excuses. And yeah, we talk about how hard it is, and it's true. But if you're genuinely about it and you can find somebody with that star factor and align yourself to them, I think you can make money no matter who you are. That's, I think, the best way to make money.
So basically be a YouTuber.
It's not about being a YouTuber. It's not. It hasn't even got to be a YouTuber. It can be anything. It can be a.
It really shows where Sneako's a young guy. He's a young guy that came out of a pretty good protected bubble. You know what I mean? Which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? And I haven't met the brother. I'm sure I will. You know what I mean? I think he moved to Miami, so I'm certain I'm gonna meet him, right? But he just doesn't strike me as someone who came from, like, pulled himself up out the mud. I don't think he's seen the craziness that the world has to offer, that hyper violence I'm always talking about, and that's a good thing. I don't wish that on nobody. You know what I mean? But like, he was like, oh, so become a YouTuber. Like, nah, bro, but he's just a young dude. And I think it's good that he can sit at a table with these cats. I mean, he's sitting at a table they're all millionaires. I mean, Sneako's probably close to being a millionaire. The money he was pulling in on YouTube. I know Myron and Fresh are. We know Andrew Tate is, and Jay Waller came from money. So he's at the right table. I just hope he's paying attention to the information that they're giving him.
You can find a fucking star salesman and find a way to help his ass. I'm saying you don't always have to be the star. The biggest mistake a lot of people make is, and especially in the Western world, because
Brother Von Bryant's in the house. What's good, bro? Thanks for coming, man. I'll be seeing you out there, man. On Black Man's platform, man. I've seen you all over there, man. I'm humbled and I'm grateful that you're here, bro. Welcome.
I talk about this all the time. I was speaking about this with somebody else. I was saying America's strength and its weakness is the same thing. America's strength is that everybody is taught they're so unique and special and valuable.
And then when you get those unique and special people, they rise to the top because they're really pushing at it from the start. But there's a lot of misery created out of people that think they're special and unique and ultra talented, but they're not really, right?
And that's why you guys do so, but this is why America does so fantastic in, let's say, the Olympics, right? Because everyone believes that they can be a sports star and everyone works so hard, etc. This is why you have so many talented people, so many creatives, so many movie directors, etc. Because everyone's told they're fantastic. But the truth is,
yeah, because everybody gets a trophy. I hate that shit. Everybody gets a trophy.
Not everybody's fantastic. And the people who are not fantastic end up frustrated. And that's why you have so much fucking crime, rob a bank, get rich or die trying, gangsters, gangbangers. Because there's a whole bunch of people in America who think they're too good for a job, and they are really not too good for a fucking job.
This is the Kevin Samuels take too. And I think Kevin Samuels did a good job from the little that I've seen of him, from checking everybody from having unrealistic expectations. Most of his content seemed to be shitting on women, but he'd shit on men too. He would attack men that thought that they were that he thought were looking for way more than what they actually should, who were kind of bums, who, you're trying to find a 22-year-old supermodel and you're like a 27 dude working at 7-Eleven. Like, you need to be more realistic about your expectations. And I think Kevin Samuels was good, and that he told women that were of a certain class to, like, respect the guy that you're with too. Like, you can have a guy that's earning 40, 50,000 a year. He could be a great guy, great for you, great everything. Like, everybody doesn't have to be like the fucking leader, the champion, the 7 million sub YouTuber or whatever, right? Yeah.
That's the truth. Whereas if you look,
he's talking big facts. You know what I mean? Brother Griot's Vision, what's good, man? Just got back from Miami Sunday. Now you got to show my support. Let us know when you can super chat, bro. I will let you know. Thanks for that, man. We're getting there, Nick. Like another 1,500 views, I think it is. I'm getting real close. That's why I'm doing I'm learning how to edit, and I'm chopping it up, and I'm putting out these shorts, and so we'll be there real soon. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. But what they're talking about here makes a whole lot of sense, man. Like, Kevin Samuels. Y'all remember, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He started out with dudes telling dudes, you're delusional, telling dudes you don't deserve this. You need to get out here and do the work. You need to do blah, blah, blah. It didn't go anywhere until he started telling women the same thing. And then it just blew up, right? The manosphere has been preaching this forever. Do the work. You know what I mean? Shout out to Rich Cooper. Make yourself the best version of yourself. That's all manosphere stuff. They talk about that on Fresh and Fit all the time. Rollo Tomassi talks about it. The list goes on and on and on and on. This is what they're talking about right here. You know what I mean? And I agree. I agree with this stuff, what they're talking about.
Look at other cultures, it's the difference, right? If you go to Asia or you go to some of these other places, you'll go to school. The very talented kids will be taken to the side. You're the top 1%. You're going to a separate class. And if you're not put in that separate class, you ain't shit. You're just like, okay, I'm working in the factory. Yes, sir. That's my job. And you're just going to do your job because the ego ain't there. So the ego is a fantastic thing for America, but it's also a detriment. So it can play both ways. But
I think if you know the
And that's how we grew up. They would separate the advanced kids from the regular kids, and they would also separate the kids who were a little bit slower, like when we were growing up. And those advanced kids, they did the work, they did the advanced work, they went on to school and all that kind of stuff. The regular kids, we were raised to get jobs. Like, he ain't lying. You know what I mean? He ain't lying. But we came up under everyone doesn't get a trophy. You had to work to get it. If you were like one of the regular kids or one of the slow kids and you did the work and they would give you the opportunity to test into the advanced class. They would give, if you wanted to, you could test in, but you had to keep up that work, right? And it was like, okay, who really wants it? The advanced kids were just like the naturals. They just got it. You know what I mean? They would sit down, you give them a lesson. They just got it first time. They're going through, multiplication, division. These kids were doing algebra in elementary school. That wasn't something that was a thing back then. These kids were, you know what I mean? They were up front. Always. So I was one of those kids I was on the cusp. Like, I could do it, but I was kind of lazy and I went home by myself. So I didn't have anybody pushing me. So it was what it was. You know what I mean? It was what it was. So yeah, man. Brother Grills, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm using Filmora, bro. I'm using that, and I'm not trying to be like a real editor. I'm using it and I'm getting really good. Not really good, but I'm getting proficient for what I'm trying to do, like cutting up something for like, a few minutes here, 10 minutes there, whatever, using transitions and all that. This time next year, I'll probably be able to edit my own short. I might start doing shorts. So I do love it. And this is part of what we're going to be talking about here in a minute, doing the work. You know what I mean? I appreciate the love from everyone, man, that we be getting. But let's continue with this.
the value that you bring to the world, you understand what you bring, then you could kind of put yourself in a position to win, because we're not all going to be, like you said, leaders. Some people are followers. So.
But this is my point. When everyone has an ego, everyone wants to be the king on the chessboard.
Yeah.
You don't.
I feel like when I was talking to Sneako, didn't I actually use the exact phrase like too many chiefs and not enough Indians? Probably because society works better when you've got a lot of followers and just a few leaders. If you've got a society full of people,
right?
Yeah, if you got a society full of everybody wants to be a leader, too many chiefs, not enough Indians is a saying, right? Then like society would probably fall into fucking disarray. Everything would be fucked, would be my guess. Like there's a name for this. Like it's a well observed thing where everybody thinks they want to be a leader and everybody wants to blah blah blah.
The chess game by having endless kings, that just gives you a bunch of vulnerabilities. Everyone has to know their role and play it. I've played the role of fucking pawn, knight, my whole life. I was pawn, knight, bishop, rook. I played them all.
This is the one thing I agree with. This is the first time I've heard Tate speak on this, and I can't agree with him more. You got to play all these roles. Effective leadership is understanding these roles. As an effective leader, I need to play the role that's best suited for the mission, for the team. And that's what he's talking about. And how leading from the front, leading by example. This is so important right here. Yeah, listen to what he's saying, man. This is it.
But you always wanted to be the king.
It's not that I wanted to be. It's that if you're truly destined to be, you'll end up in a position where you're going to be.
This also kind of aligns with kind of my virtue take, where I think like the where I'm at right now in life is that like basically different people are good at different things. And I think you kind of owe it to yourself and the world to pursue what it is you're best at. Not everybody is like cut out to be like a Hollywood entertainer, or not everybody is cut out to be like a leader of a multi-million-dollar, but there's like nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't have to be, it's not like if you weren't one of those people that your life sucks. Like I think there's plenty of people living lives earning 40, 50, 60,000 a year that are living like tremendously awesome, wonderful lives. Like that's super possible. The idea that you have to be like one of these like leader people is just not true, I don't think.
To be a leader person, where's that idea come from? I put it squarely on everyone gets a trophy. Everyone does not get a trophy. Sometimes you can bust your ass and give 100%, 110% and still not win. Right? Because you're up against people who just better, stronger, faster, more resources. It is what it is. That doesn't mean that you just give up. You know what I mean? I agree with what Desitny is saying. I think being an older guy, if I was to make a complaint, and this is not a complaint, again, I got respect for Desitny and his opinions, but I would just say that the message sounds a little too soft. You know what I mean? I'm old school. I'm that get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like that's what we are. Today is the same message, but it's just, soft. Well, you'll be okay. It'll be fine. And there. I ain't on that shit.
Seen as a king of your empire, wherever your empire is or whatever it is. God has a plan for all of us. My plan was to do my job to the best of my ability, whatever my job was at the time. People call me arrogant, etc.
My father drilled that into my head. Do the best job. Do it to the best of your ability. Get it done. My father drilled that into my head no matter what it was. And I carry that with me to this day.
Etc. I spent fucking 11 years obeying my coach like he was God. Run here. Okay, 7 miles, 4 a.m. Oh, fuck. All right. I just listened. I didn't get successful by running my mouth. I didn't get successful by knowing everything. I got successful by listening. I listened.
Somebody else, I got a lot of emails after that combo too, and I should have been pointing out more things. I didn't even think about it, but like I got a lot of emails for like, bro, like 90% of CEOs have college degrees. And then also, what do successful people do? I think I count as a successful person. Like I told my kid, like Nathan is going to college and you're getting a degree before you ever hop into YouTube shit. Most likely. You're gonna I'm not gonna let him just like, oh, I'm out of high school, time to do this shit. Fuck you. Go to college, get a degree. And I think if you look at most successful people, what are they trying to do? Like, what do successful people do? They're literally known for like trying to scam schools to get their fucking kids to get into the best schools, right? What was that whole thing where they're like paying off like school administrators to like they're trying so hard. Like wealthy people will cheat to get their kids into the best fucking schools. Like that's how fucking important it is for them. So the idea that like oh no, like wealthy people know that school is a waste of time. Like haven't you heard of these two exceptional people? Like well, Musk got degrees, fucking Bezos got degrees, Bill Gates was super smart before he even went into college. He was working on shit. Zuckerberg got degrees. Like 99% of these like super billionaire people are all really well-educated people. It's very, 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 very rare that somebody comes out of nothing and becomes like a billionaire. That is exceptionally rare. Most of these people are really well-educated. Fucking Donald Trump! I'm pretty sure. Wait, let's check. I don't actually know.
Yeah, Trump went to school too. He has a point here. There's a reason at the bottom everyone was like, go to college, go to college, go to college. Right? And I think that reason is because they know the people at the top are sending their kids to school. What comes out of school? Like, what are you learning in college that you can't learn on your own? Like, you can't, like, these days you can learn on YouTube. What is it you learn in college? Not much, but it's the opportunities and the networking. My opportunities came to me in the military. My networking opportunities came to me in the military. You know what I mean? But is college important? Absolutely. I agree with what he's saying. 100%. I agree. It's a finesse too. You got to be careful, right? You don't have to go to Ivy League. You don't have to go to Brown. You don't have to go to Harvard. You don't have to go to Yale. If you can afford it, do it. If you get the opportunity, if you win a scholarship, absolutely go. Because that's going to give you the networking opportunities that could change your life, that could change your family's lives. Absolutely. But don't go into debt to go. Don't do that. Don't do it. That's too much pressure on yourself to succeed. You know what I mean? Like my daughter's going to have to go to college, right? There's just something going on. It's like some deep family stuff. I'm not going to bore y'all with the details, but basically it looks like my daughter's going to have to go to college if she wants to get certain things. Like we're talking about, like, whatever. But I'm like, no, we're not going to go to University of, Florida. You're not going to go to Miami. You're not going to go to Cincinnati. No, we're going to go to some state school, right? Some junior, some JUCO, right? We're going to get the degree because this is something that has to be satisfied in order for these other things to happen. So we're going to get the degree. We're not going to spend a ton of money on it. And if we're lucky, we're going to be able to find some scholarships and stuff like that based on some things that my daughter loves. We're going to get that done. We're going to get that piece of paper because we have to, and then that's that. You know what I mean? Don't fall for the finesse and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to get a degree from someplace in some sort of field that's absolutely worthless to you. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Brother Hayoka, baby steps, breaking problems down into smaller parts allows you to learn almost anything. Yes, that's one thing I tell my daughter all the time. Keep working the problem. We used to do that in air traffic control. Keep working the problem. You can't stop. Keep working the problem. Military, keep working the problem. Mission first. Got to keep going. It's too many people want to quit. This is too hard. I need more time. You ain't getting no more time. Get it done. Get it done now. Brother Ness, but there is tons of useless degrees. Not all of them are useful. Absolutely. You must choose wisely. I agree with you. You know what I mean? Target education. Yeah, y'all. But we get it. But the elites are putting their kids in college and their kids are finishing for a reason. You know what I mean? So I agree with that.
Donald Trump Wikipedia. I know this motherfucker graduated from some bullshit. Trump family must have. This motherfucker skipped the draft to finish school, okay? Did he finish? Hold on.
Yeah, he got deferments.
Look, even Donald Trump got his 4-year degree at Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. And this guy came from money and had a dad that gave him money, okay? And even this motherfucker finished his 4-year degree, okay?
Trump got deferments, and then there was that whole bone spur thing. Someone hit me up in one of my comments. Trump didn't join the military because he had a medical issue. He had a bone spur or some shit like that. Like, yo, I have a heart murmur. Had it my whole life, and I'm airborne. So I don't want to hear about no bone spur. Come on, bro. You didn't want to go. I ain't mad at him. That's your choice. You know what I mean? Your country called and you said no. Fine. All right, you get to do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I gotta find that comment and respond to it because I'm like, that's absolute bullshit. Bone spur. Get the hell out of here with that. He didn't want to go to war, period. Cowardice. That's all right. And he should not have been allowed to be president. Neither should have Bill Clinton or Barack Obama or Joe Biden. Everyone to be president of the United States, it should be a law you have to serve in the military. That's just my take on it. I wish that were the law of the land. It should be.
To my father my entire life. I listened to my coach my entire life. I just done exactly as I was told. He said punch. He said jab. I jabbed. That was it. So I just obeyed. So I played my part and played my role for a very long time before I got to a position now where I have, I don't know, a total of maybe 60, 70 people working for me across all these different industries.
Damn, that's
now I'm the
insane.
king of the empire, blah, blah, blah. But you're saying I always knew I wanted to be king. I don't think I did. I just wanted to be very, very competent and do my job very, very well.
And
even now to this day, if Elon Musk and I were to have a conversation one day and he were to say, I want you to help me with X, I'm not going to walk in there saying, I'm the king though, bro. Top G. I'm like, you know what, Mr. Elon? Sure. I'll be the knight. Let's go to fucking Mars. There's too much ego involved. Yeah. And this is the problem with a lot of people. Egos hold them back. Ego's going to get your ass killed. Ego will put you in the fucking morgue. It'll put you in jail. And it'll also destroy a lot of opportunities. I can tell you another story.
I say you, brother Doug, but you said as much as my brother wanted to remain in the military, your brother was in. You know what I mean? Trump will tell you in a heartbeat, bro. They paid for that bone spur shit or whatever. He didn't want to go. That's all it is. He didn't want to go, man. And then he turns around and he talks shit about those of us who do serve. He talks shit about everybody. It's just who he is. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's my biggest problem. People ask me all the time, what's your problem with Trump? Like, he didn't want to serve. Reagan wanted to serve. And he couldn't get in, but he still did everything he could to serve in his way. He still wore a uniform. He still did all that. Like we talked about Queen Elizabeth. She served. She wore a uniform. She drove a truck. She didn't have to. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. He don't get a pass from me, man. It is what it is.
I have a whole bunch of friends who are still broke, even though they've watched my come up and I've tried to help them a million times, and they'll message like, hey, man, just had to leave my job again. And they're trying to hint at borrowing money. I'm like, why? What happened? Man, my boss, he's fucking rude to me. Bro, you're a wagey, and he's your boss. Do
your job.
What the fuck? Do your job. Like, you can't be messaging me saying, oh, yeah, you're top G, I'm a G, I don't take shit from my boss. Well, you have to you're the boss. That's the game. You have to know your part and play it well.
How much of it is determined by God? You're saying, I'm wondering what you think of the difference between free will and determinism. You're saying that some people are meant to just be pawns, but how much of it is dependent on your mentality?
Hey, y'all, pay attention to what Tate's about to say. Again, that's Sneako's voice you're hearing. He's asking him this question, how much is determined by God? You know what I mean? People are, destined to be pawns, destined to be losers because God wills it. I think that's bullshit. Listen to what Tate has to say about that.
In your belief as a youngin'.
People decide to be pawns. Nobody is destined to be anything they don't decide themselves to be.
You hear that? People decide to be pawns. People decide to be broke. People decide to sit in the house and do nothing. People decide to get big. I mean, it's a choice, especially in this country. It's a choice, man. I'm so glad I'm so glad that Sneako asked that question. Let's continue.
I hate that people are like whatever, it's all good. But people on my subreddit were triggering me. They're like, oh, he said it so much more eloquently than Desitny did. Like, well, yeah, he did, but that's because every 3 words I would try to speak, Sneako would jump down my fucking throat, saying essentially the same shit. I couldn't get fucking anything out without Sneako screaming down my throat over it. Like, Jesus.
If you're truly uncomfortable with something, you can't exist there. When I was a pawn, I did my job to the best of my ability, but let's change it. When I was a brokey, I knew I was a brokey. Trust me, I knew very well I was a brokey. My life reflected it, as did my bank balance. But I was uncomfortable in it to a position where I couldn't sleep at night. I had sleepless nights just laying there thinking, how the fuck are people buying Ferraris? I can't pay rent. This doesn't make sense. I have to escape. I can't live this way. if you're genuinely uncomfortable, if I set you on fire, you're going to stand up. You're going to move. If I set you on fire and you're chilling, then you can't say that the fire's burning. The people who are broke and they have been broke for years and years and years, and they're still sleeping in late playing video games, are comfortable enough being broke to stay broke. I couldn't be comfortable in that position. If you put me in a shitty position, I'm so desperately uncomfortable. We can change it from money to something else.
Dude, what is
If
this?
I was morbidly obese, it wouldn't last long. I'm telling you now. With me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I'd be mad at myself. I'd be angry. I'd be self-conscious. I'd fix it. The person who's been morbidly obese for 10 years and goes, I'm trying, you ain't fucking trying. You are very comfortable and very happy to be who you are.
Facts.
So anybody who's a pawn is comfortable and happy being a pawn. Otherwise, they wouldn't be one anymore. They'd at least have moved up. So when I say determined by God, what I'm saying is that God is producing all of us. I believe God exists. We're all made in his image to a degree. And certain people have looked at their place in life and said, this is okay. This is enough for me to sleep at night. And if that's fine, you're going to sleep. But if you were like me, if you're looking at your bitch going, she's a 7, my car ain't shit, apartment's small, I know I'm better than this, I have to find a way to escape, then motivation and the whole idea of motivation it gets destroyed. People say, I don't have motivation. I never had motivation. I had a burning desire to fucking fix my life. I didn't need to wake up and get I didn't have to watch YouTube to want to make some fucking money. I was like, I wanted money. Like, I didn't need YouTube to tell me, bro, you're broke. Like, so I don't think that anybody is destined to be a pawn. I think people decide to be pawns. And I'll give you an example of it. I can sit here right now as a multimillionaire, a person who has hundreds of millions of dollars. And I can say, if you go to CobraTake.com right now, you can sign up to a free newsletter, and I will email you every day for free lessons from a multimillionaire for free. All it's going to take is 13 seconds of your time to go to CobraTake.com and sign up to the email letter. And maybe 10% of the people watching will do it. And 90% will go, hey man, being broke sucks. Because they're fucking dumbasses. Well, that's their decision. I believe it's decisions. People who are broke decided to be broke. It really is not that difficult to make money out here. I really don't think it is.
What is the biggest?
What about you?
Good.
And I gotta agree with a lot of that, man. I gotta agree with a lot of that, brother. And that's predetermination and free will or comparable, aka if God knows something doesn't mean he caused it. Right, man. You know what I mean? God will give you tools to push through it. I mean, if you believe in that, whatever faith it is, if you believe in that, God's not going to fix it for you. He's going to give you the tools you need to get through it. You know what I mean? A lot of those people, like when I was coming up, let go, let God. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm drowning, so I'm going to stop trying to float? I'm just going to let go and let God? Like, well, you might drown. Like, God's giving you the strength to pull yourself out of that situation. Right? So maybe let go and find that strength. Like, okay, I know God's going to get me out of this. Let me sit down, let me meditate, let me focus, and let me find the escape that God has for me. Let me sit back and let me work this problem through it. You know what I mean? Let me continue to work the problem. God gave me a good mind and, you know, strong legs and arms, and I'm healthy. I can think my way out of this. That's how I looked at it when I was in the faith. You know what I mean? So it's so many people who's like, God wants me to be this way. Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? You know what I mean? So, and it's on the other side of that, people are going out here doing wrong, and then they're like, God wills it. No, God did not will you to go out there and do that. Crusades, all those people dying in God's name. For what? You know what I mean? Fighting over a piece of land. For what? They put that on God too. I'm different. Brother Hayoka, dissatisfaction brings about a change. It should. But that was real good about what he said. People choose to be pawns. They do. I could have chose to just sit in Cincinnati and not do anything. I could have chose not to enlist in the United States military. I could have chose to pick a easier career field. I could have chose to do those things, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't. It was all choice. If I was going to succeed or fail, it was based on my choices, and I'm responsible. And that's what I'm hearing here. You know what I mean, brother Ness? Yeah, absolutely. Accountability. You got to be accountable. It is what it is. We make some good moves. We make some bad moves. Adjust. Continue to work the problem. You know what I mean? I definitely got to give, Tate props on that. And Destiny was like agreeing with a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? So let's jump ahead. Because I'm gonna have to go get my daughter pretty soon. I want to get through this. 52. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to put it right. And oh man, I had it. I will start here.
As Michael Jordan. Let him be fucking Michael Jordan. I'm not insecure about that.
And when
You
you,
know
have,
what I'm saying?
and when you have a diverse group, when you have a group of true competent people, you'll realize that it changes role to role anyway. There are certain scenarios where it's X guy is the fucking G, and there's an X guy, he's the G. That's how it goes. When it comes to boozing, it's like, Tristan, bro, bro, you win. Like, that's just.
Yeah, you look at the Fresh and Fit platform. When it's in that studio, when it's all about that, it's all about Myron. Myron's the man. But, you know, when it transitions into networking, when it transitions and getting certain guests and trying to reach out, Andrew Tate is here today because of Fresh. Fresh was reaching out to Tate before there was a Fresh and Fit. Right. So it was, you know, when it comes to networking, Myron takes a back seat. When it comes to getting to the studio and doing this kind of stuff, like that day when they were in there, everyone had to wait on Myron to get all the sound and everything up. Everyone had to take a back seat. That's all part of, you know, knowing your lane and getting in where you fit in. Right. It's part of working the problem. You can't sit back and be jealous and be mad or whatever. You know what I mean? Be envious.
That's the way it is. That's what happens when you're around genuine competence.
What's the biggest deciding factor, Andrew, that separates you from the 90%, the retards, the people who don't want it? Why do you make the decision to go and get it, but most people don't? What's the biggest? Is it the way you?
Yeah, Brother Grios is right. It's all about making those choices, making those decisions, putting in that work, man, and dealing with it. Staying up late if that's what it means to get it done. Getting up early if that's what it means to get it done. Doing both at the same time if that's what it means to get it done. Eating ramen noodles. Saving your money, making better decisions. All that's part of it, y'all.
Grew up? Is it the fighting? Is it being broke?
That's a good question. And that actually leads into my other question fantastically, which is amazing. I was raised for competence and I was raised for excellence. So to a degree, I can say that I'm lucky by the fact that I had such fantastic parents and that they told me from a very, very young age who I had to be and how I had to live. I hear a lot of things from people saying, you know, if your father's too amazing and he can overshadow you and it makes the kid fail, I can't speak to that because I had the complete opposite experience. My father was my hero. I wanted to be exactly like him. And all I had to do was copy him and do as I was told. And I was going to be fantastic. I learned how to listen at a very young age. I learned how to obey my elders, do as I was told, eat my vegetables. My life has never truly fucked up. There's a lot of successful people who will tell you like, yeah, my life fucked up and then I recovered. I went to jail. I got out, all this shit. My life's never fucked up. My life has always been wake up, do the fucking work. That's all it's ever been. And if you wake up and do the fucking work every single day, I'm 36 years old. How can I not have hundreds of millions of dollars?
He's got a good point. Wake up and do the work. You know what I mean? It sounds simple, but you got to do the work. Now, I'm not saying if you wake up and do the work every day for 36 years, you're going to be a millionaire. I'm not saying that. Right. It depends on what work you're doing. It depends on where your goals are set. It depends on where you want to be. What are you trying to do? Right. So, but I get his point. He gets up and he does the work to this day.
All I've done is work. All I've done is get up and do what I'm supposed to do. All I've done is get up, eat right, train, work, answer the call, be on time. Like, how am I going to not have hundreds of millions of dollars? It's almost like I don't understand how you messed that up. It's because people are just lazy. So, but that feeds into my other question I want to ask all of you. How big of an impact do you think family has on a man? Because I think we're speaking majorly to men. And what advice would you give to men who love their family and they know their family love them, but their family
holds them back?
Their family are not living the lives they want to live.
Oh.
The advice they're giving is not the advice they want to
Close
follow.
enough.
Yeah, that is kind of close, brother. And there's Fresh and Fit or bad cop and good cop. Yeah, man. That's funny what they do. How they work. You know what I mean? They're definitely the yin and the yang. Keep in mind, these guys didn't meet until 2 years ago. They met and then built this platform and, you know, turned it into what it is today. Like, shout out to them for that. Let's jump ahead to but again, it takes guys who are willing to, like people talk about submission being a bad word when they talk about it in the context of a relationship. But all relationships, even business relationships, someone's going to have to submit. Both parties are going to have to submit to the other at certain times. That's the only way you're going to do it. Like I submitted to the United States military. To this day, if something were going down and you are better skilled at whatever it is we need done at the moment, I'm going to submit or defer to your decision. It would be foolish not to. I'm not going to go out here and make a decision on something I know nothing about when you are the subject matter expert. Why wouldn't I submit to you? Why wouldn't I defer to you? Let's get it done. And then we get to something else. I might be the subject matter expert, and then you're going to defer to me, or you're going to submit to me and my decisions, right? That's how it works, yo. That's how it works. That's why I think it's funny when people talk about this submission being a bad word. So we got one last part, and then we'll be done with the video. And I have a couple notes, and then we'll be wrapping this up. Again, because, I got to go get my daughter here pretty soon. Best part of my day is going to get my little girl. I ain't going to lie to you. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So here we go. We're going to start. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're going to start here.
People message me, go, I don't want to go college. My parents want me to go college. I say, well, have you sat down with your parents and explained to them what you're going to do with all those years instead? Have you sat there and said, look, I'm not going to go to college?
True. This obsession with not going to college. I say this to everybody that says this. If you have to ask, should I go to college? The answer is always yes. And what he's saying is very true. When parents are like, if you're working on a whole bunch of fucking shit and your parents are like, why don't you go to college? And you're like, I don't have time to go to college. I'm doing this, this, and this. And it's like, okay.
Tobias the Traveler, subscribe. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I definitely want to get you on the show, man. I want to talk about all your travels, especially that hiccup you had in Medellin, bro. I want to talk to you about that offline. Also, I want to talk to you about it on camera, but I really want to talk to you about it offline as well. So thank you, bro. Thank you so much. And please go ahead and check out Tobias the Traveler. Man, that's another brother I met through Suzette Speaks platform, an outstanding platform. Please go subscribe to both Tobias the Traveler and Suzette Speaks. And thank you, brother. I appreciate it. But let's continue with what they're talking about. This whole talk about mom and dad, I don't want to go to school. This is a good conference. This is really good.
That's fair. I think, I don't know if every parent would be okay with that, but they'd be more okay with that than you just be like, oh, I don't know. I don't think college is for me. Because that just sounds lazy, right? It sounds like you don't have a plan or you're not going to do anything. Instead, you're just going to waste the years.
6 hours a day doing this, 2 hours a day doing this, 1 hour a day in the gym. Across next year, I'll be doing this apprenticeship. I'll get this certification. I'll be able to go here and do this. I'm going to get this passport. I'm going to go here. Or if you just said, I don't want to go to college and turn the TV back on.
Yeah.
Well, then why do you think they want you to go to college, right? It doesn't matter what you do. I think if you're a child and you explain to your parents or all the people who love you or the people around you are trying to push you in a certain direction and say, look, I have a plan. This is what it is. I have a finite amount of time on the planet. I'm going to dedicate it towards X. I'm going to make sure this is successful. I'm going to do it right. And you show competence and you show that you genuinely give a shit and you're up before them and go to sleep after them. They're not going to hate on anything you do. I think a lot of the people are saying, oh, my parents are trying to suppress me. No, what your parents are trying to do is inspire you to do something. You're lazy. You ain't doing shit.
Sorry.
I completely understand that.
True,
if you have a fucking teenage son sitting around smoking weed, you want to send his ass to college. Like, what else is he going to let him do? Sit there and smoke weed?
Send his ass to the United States Army. Uncle Sam wants you. You got to go somewhere. You got to get out of here. Kick your kids out of the house, man. They hit 18, they ain't kids no more, man. Kick them out of the house, people. Kick them out. Sink or swim time. Get out there. If you did your job as a parent, they are prepared for that world. Send them out into that world. Go get some. If you don't want to go to college, fine. Figure it out then. If you want to stay here, you got to do one or the other. You join the military, or if you're going to stay in this house, make them pay rent. You know what I mean? Make it tough on them. You can't be bringing people over here. Make them get out the house. If you truly want to help your kids, that's how you do it. You support them. You help them out when they have little hiccups along the way. They still going to come get advice from you. Put them out, yo. Put them out. Yeah, it's a little different for women. It is a little bit different. I get that. But guys, man, get out. Go out there and go get it. Go become. Go figure it out. As a parent, if I'm saying, I'm going to send, all right, son, I'm going to send you to college. We're going to, help you pay for this, that, and the other. And you're like, I don't want to go to school. Fine, get out. You can't stay here. But if you come with a plan, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I see myself. This is how much money I'm going to make. I'm out here doing the work. I'm busting my ass. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm staying out of trouble. I ain't, smashing all these chicks, getting pregnant. None of that. I'm out here focused on me making myself the best version of me that I can. Your parents, they're going to back you. All right, cool. Well, we're going to charge you a little rent so you can put that in there. Not because you need the money. It's just so they can see the responsibility. Like, all right, okay, I'm gonna pay some rent, pay some utilities. There's gonna be restrictions on, how I move. And if you want more than that, you want your own freedom, get your own place. But he's so right. He is so right. Sister Candace, keep that same energy for your daughters too. Word? There are some lazy, entitled daughters running around here as well. I get what you mean, but I'm less hesitant to send my daughter into that world. Especially, you know, if you got a beautiful young woman, you just know what could be waiting for him. But to the point that I made, like if you trained her properly, if you brought her up right, she should be able to handle that. You know, you got a good point, Sister Candace. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let my little girl know, which I've already told her. College and military, or you gonna live with your mom. Those are 3 choices. You go to college, you go to military, or you go live with your mom. That's what's gonna happen. But you're gonna do something. You ain't gonna be sitting around here just taking up space. And thanks for that, Sister Candace.
If you were genuinely up grinding, even if you weren't making money, if you were in the gym every day and you're a bodybuilder and you look like a tank, they'd still be a bit like, all right, he's doing something. I mean, like, at least he ain't just sitting around, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. When your family, you nailed it with the suppression love. When your family are trying to hold you back, what they're trying to do is make you do something because they think you're doing nothing. Because if you were doing enough, they wouldn't really be so concerned with what you were doing at all. It's about output more than what you're putting your output into. It's just about doing something, existing in the world.
And to your point, Andrew, so for example, even myself, like,
so that's kind of cool. I dug that. You know what I'm saying? I really did. We're done with the video. Shout out to Desitny. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely gonna subscribe to his page. I'm gonna find next time he does a live, I'm gonna jump on there and like show some tribute because when I like to do that, if I react to someone's video, I try to jump on their page and like they do lives, I try to send them a little tribute, just out of sheer respect and appreciation. So yeah, shout out to Desitny, man. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him at all. You know what I mean? I like I said, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he does and says, but I do agree with a lot of it. I do agree with a lot. I don't agree with all. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Brother Hayok, it depends on a productive child might need time. A 13-year-old with 35,000, I know one should be given the time. Yeah, I mean, there's no one size fits all. Like every situation is different. But when we're just talking about that in general, you got lazy, kids who don't want to do anything, man, because they're privileged. You gotta train them up, get them ready. You know what I mean? They sitting around comfortable, man. Now you gotta go get uncomfortable. You gotta go out here and tame the world. You ain't gonna just sit here. Go get it. You know what I mean? And Sister Candace, not you specifically, but I have personally seen the difference in parenting between males and females, and it has not ended well for the women. Yeah, trust me, I've seen that. I've seen that. I can't tell you the kind of pillow talk I've heard in my life. These women talking about how it was when they were growing up, and it's like, some of them like, you need a professional. You shouldn't be saying this to me. Go talk to a pro. Go talk to a pro, because it sounds like problems. Yep, and brother, and as I watch him a lot because he's the best debater online. He may well be, bro. You know what I mean? I'm watching him more and more. Yeah, he does get passionate, but I did have some notes. When they were talking about, people, everybody wants to be the king. Everybody wants to be like the chef. Everybody wants to be in charge. And then they're talking about folks who everyone feels that they're great, right there. I'm the best ever because mommy told me I am. And they're going out here and it's like just everybody gets a trophy mentality and they're just putting out garbage. It struck a chord with me, right? Like, just look at Hollywood right now. Look at Hollywood and all the movies they're putting out, right? They're telling shitty stories, right? You look at The Woman King, you look at She-Hulk, you look at that female Thor movie. I forget the name of it. You look at what they did with Star Wars. There's a movie that just came out about I guess it's about gay guys. And just like their life or something. I don't know what the movie's about, but it's Hollywood. They're making these movies. These movies are failing at the box office. And what are they doing? They're blaming people. They're like, oh, you don't watch this movie. It's a gay movie and you're not watching it. So therefore you must be homophobic. Or here's a movie about these women. They're strong, powerful women, black women, and you're not supporting the women. So that means you're racist. It goes on and on and on. No. Hollywood, the reason people aren't buying your product is because your product sucks. It has nothing to do with who these people sleep with or they're part of the alphabet community or they're black or whatever. No, they're terrible stories. They're terrible stories. You hired these people that came to Hollywood and was like, I'm the best writer ever, and they write trash. And you hired them and you made this movie and it sucks. And as you know, because there are tons of movies out there about people who are gay. There are tons of movies out there about people who are black. There are tons of movies out there about all these other folks, but they tell good stories. Period. Hollywood is out here making horrible films with terrible stories. So that's part of it. Right? Quit telling shitty stories. People will support a movie about, the LGBTQ plus community if it's a good story. If it's a good story and it's shot well, right, and everything else is done technically, because Hollywood still make movies. So if everything else is done properly, it's a good story. People will watch it. Moonlight, one of those movies. People watched it. They thought it was great. You know what I mean? I didn't. Brokeback Mountain. People watched it. They thought it was great. I didn't. But it's just one of those things. If you tell a good story, people will watch it. Simple as that. You just making movies for the sake of you making movies is horrible stories and like people just gonna buy it because we're gay. No. It has to be a good movie. I'm not gonna go watch a black movie just because it's a black movie. It has to be a good movie. I will get up and walk out if it's horrible. Right? So Hollywood is they're failing right now because the stories are bad. They're hiring writers. Again, everybody gets a trophy. You got to hire me because of whatever, and they're all clicked up. It's their fault that they're failing. Simple as that. Tell good stories. Right? In the real world, everyone does not get a trophy. That's not the real world, people. Everyone can't come in first place. Everyone's not getting a gold medal. The person who comes in first gets gold, right? Gold, silver, bronze. That's it. That's it. Everyone doesn't get that. Just the top 3. That's it. That's how the world works. Point blank, period. And because I'm saying it or Tate's saying it or whoever's saying it, it's like, it's not true. It is 100% true. You got to do the work. Tate was talking about that. Right? The Manosphere talks about that. My father talked about that. You got to do the work. You know what I mean? And then I was listening to what they were saying about this. Like, when he was talking about, being with his boys, being with his crew, like, being surrounded and just like they're constantly pushing each other and all that. But I got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? When you become successful, it's like, again, it's layers to this. As you become successful, you kind of get lazy. I'm going to keep it 100. You get comfortable. Let's not say lazy, but you get comfortable. Right? It's the need, like you're not hungry anymore. Like you eating. You ain't just eating, but you eating good. You just sitting back like, this is pretty cool. I can work harder. There are people out there who've reached a certain level of success, and you can work harder. If you choose to, you can work harder. So if you use the chess analogy, if Tate and the Fresh and Fit guys and all them, if they're kings on their individual boards, I might be a knight. I might be a bishop. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm cool here. I'm cool here. Like, I don't have 10 million. I don't have this. I don't have that. But I'm comfortable. So I could push myself harder. And it just, the more success you have, the harder it can be to push yourself forward. Right? So that's just some of the stuff that I was thinking about. Like, I've made it, but I could do more. So, here's this YouTube. All right, I'm doing this YouTube. I don't have to do this. Trying to build up something here, trying to grow myself and actually maybe get some people and help people grow. Like, hey, watch me do it. But I'm an old dude, but I'm still out here getting it. Right? That's the whole point. If you're out there, if you're still a pawn, well, maybe you need to work harder. Maybe you need to get out there and do some work. And at every level, you can work harder. I know I can work harder. Success, it takes hard work and risk. That's what it is. You have to take a risk at some point in the line. If you're a successful person, there was something you did, you took a risk. You took a leap of faith. You did something. You bet on yourself at some point to get there. You did. Right? And people are like, well, D.O. Saint, what risk did you take? I went to war. It led me here. I didn't have to go. They sat me down and told me I did not have to deploy. The Army knew that I was my mother's only child. I don't know how they knew that, but they knew it. And they sat me down. It's like, you don't have to deploy. I went anyway. Took a risk. It's my job. How am I not going to deploy? I was a paratrooper. I was jumping out of airplanes. Took a risk. These risks led me to where I am now. You know, did I have to do it? No. I could have not gone to airborne school. I still had the job as an air traffic controller. I probably would have wound up with a career somewhere in the Army, you know, being an air traffic controller. But I don't know. Maybe I would have done it that way and got there and washed out and would have lost the opportunity to be an air traffic controller, wound up being a truck driver or a mechanic or something like that. Who knows? But there was a risk involved. The point is, I did take a risk. If you're out here, you're making money moves, you're going to take a risk. Like, you want to get into real estate, there's risk involved. There's risk. You know what I mean? If you want to, like, doing YouTube, there's risk involved. There's equipment that you need. There's investments. You got to just stuff you got to do. You got to stay on it. There's no calling in sick. This is just me. Hey, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. This is just me. You got to go out here and network. You know what I mean? You can't be weird. There's a whole bunch of stuff you got to do. There's risk involved. You know what I mean? You're going to have to put money up. You know, hopefully, you know, depending on what you're in it for. If you're in it for money, maybe you see money on the backside, maybe. But you're not going to see that money without putting in a whole lot of work. So that's the whole point. That's why I wanted to watch this thing with Desitny, his, you know what I mean, his reaction to Tate and those guys. This is the way. This is the way. You got to take risks. Real estate. Comedy. I took a risk. I took a leap of faith to be a comedian. Went out there and did it. You know what I mean? Just had to take a risk. It didn't just come to me. I had to get out there. I had to learn. I had to get in the trenches. I had to learn how to play all these different parts. I had to play these different roles. I had to do that. You know what I mean? So, like, again, like, you know, Tate says some wild shit. Yes, he does. But there's times when he says stuff that absolutely makes sense. This is one of those times. I agree with everything he said for the most part. The whole thing, you know, being with my boys part, I agree with it in the sense that some of the best times I've had in my life, I'm with my people, I'm with my family, and that's my crew. I was Jay Swans or my cousins or whatever, and great times. Some of the most fond memories I have, those people were there. So I get what he's saying there. So yeah, you know what I mean? But would I want to be living with my crew like that? I've never done that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it works for him, obviously. You know what I mean? To the tune of, you know, he's probably somewhere between $50 and $100 million in net worth. Good for him. You know what I mean? So people, that's the bottom line, man. Like, we, you know, this. The only thing you take away from this conversation today is, you know, you got to do the work. This is what we're talking about. You got to get in there and grind. And you have to be open to take risk. Calculated risk. Don't be stupid, but take risk. Bet on yourself. You know what I mean? Better yourself. If you are a pawn, if you are at the bottom, you don't have to stay there. God did not will you to stay at the bottom. He didn't create you to be a loser. It's up to you to do the work. Because if that were the case, I'd still be on the block in Cincinnati or locked up or dead. If that were the case, a lot of us got out. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that for now. I do have an episode coming up on Thursday. We're going to be talking about leaving home, the importance of leaving home and why so many people refuse to do it. You know what I mean? Gonna have my man Brian Boggs on. We're going to talk about that. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the passport boys. And should American women be concerned? I think they should. That's going to be at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Come back tonight for that, y'all. We're going to talk about the passport boys. They're making some noise out there. They're doing some things. I've been traveling for decades, you know what I mean? But to see this movement, you know, let's talk about the reasons why. So we're going to be talking about that episode tonight. We're going to be talking about the bottom 80. So please come by and check that out. Brother, and as I lose hope, I doubt they will change. Hollywood, that's all going to change because they're losing money. Disney is taking a bath on all these projects that are coming out. Marvel, Disney, they're losing money. They're losing bread. You see, they're bringing back Deadpool and Wolverine because they need to start bringing some money in. They're losing money hand over fist. So, yeah, Hollywood, this Hollywood thing is going to go away. It's going to go away. Hiring directors and writers who are terrible is going to go away. You know what I mean? Hiring actors simply because they're black or female or gay, and same thing with writers and directors. That's all going to go away. So if you're in Hollywood right now, get it while you can. I hope you got talent. Get it while you can, because all that's going to go away, and it's going to go back to the way that we're doing business. And the powers that be are still going to be there. The no talent hacks that control the gatekeepers are still going to be there. They're not going to be held accountable for their bad decisions. They thought that they can make quick money off of people being woke, and they see that that's not going to happen. They're going to go back to doing what they were doing before, and they're going to make stories and do whatever. So yeah, we'll see. Tobias the Traveler, people are lazy and don't want to do the work. If you are a loser, it's your fault. If you are a success, it's your fault. Absolutely, 100% agree with that, bro. That's real talk. You know what I mean? That's real talk, brother. Hey, okay, even if you're living a bad movie, it's still a story. Tell me about the bad movie. Humans by nature or storytellers. I don't stay for bad movies, bro. I'll get up and walk out. Even if I'm and that's at the theater. If I'm at home and like there's a lot of comedians out here now, they're getting specials and stuff like that. I can't even watch their specials, bro, because they're horrible. They're horrible. Like they're going. I don't know how they're getting out there, but it certainly isn't based on merit. It's not based on them being funny. You know, Holly Weird likes to think that they can tell you what funny is. You got these actors and these writers and these directors telling you what you should like. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Put out good product, and then, you know, whatever people watch, whatever people pay for, that's what people like. Try to find more product like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I leave bad movies, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Brother Hilke, Andrew's net worth is estimated at $355 million. Wow, is it that high? Wow. I'm not a pocket watcher or anything like that, but wow, hey, congratulations to him. Is it? That's a lot. And then Tobias Travel, looking forward to the call at 6:30. Yeah, pop through here, man. I'm definitely gonna have the link up this evening. I'll be looking forward to hearing people's opinions about the Passport Boys, this movement. I'm looking forward to it. That's tonight at 6:30 right here, y'all. So come back and check that out. Thanks to everybody who was hanging out with me today. We almost went 3 hours. I thought this was going to be like an hour and 15 minutes. I ain't going to lie to you, but it was a lot of video to cover. And a lot of comments and stuff like that. So thanks for everybody who came through today, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. Tonight, 6:30, man, be there at B Square. It's going to be fun. You know what I mean? We definitely going to get into it. I'm all about the Passport Boys movement. I ain't gonna lie to you. Good for y'all, brothers. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna talk about where I think in the spectrum of things the Passport Boys are, with reference to how the dating marketplace is today in this country. And I've been seeing a lot of TikToks. I don't have TikToks, but I'll see it on YouTube, where women are making comments, very disparaging comments to these men. And the first thing that popped in my head was like, well, wow, why would you care if these guys were to leave? And I have my theory on that. So come back at 6:30, man. Let's talk about that tonight. Remember, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, should Floyd Mayweather fight Andrew Tate? We're going to have that discussion. Please come through, have y'all notes, be ready. Jay Swans is going all in on me. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be trying to beat my head, beat me about the head. He's going crazy. You know what I mean? Because he's been kicking your boy's ass, I ain't gonna lie, for the past few weeks. He's been having a whole lot of laughs at my expense. So we're gonna have this debate tomorrow, 1 p.m. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all are there, Brother Doug. I bet half of that came from the Rumble deal. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe more than half of that came from the Rumble deal. You know, yeah, shout out to the Tate boys. Good for them. Wonderful 34. What up, people? We're about to leave, man. What's good? We're about to be up out of here. Thanks for showing up. I know you came through a little late, but it's all good, bro. It's the middle of the day. He's like, damn, I'm late. Yeah, it's the middle of the day. It's all good. I ain't mad at you. We're out here trying to get it. Come back at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time right here, man. We're going to talk about the Passport Boys movement. We're going to have that talk. And I appreciate everybody who came through here, man. I really do. Tobias the Traveler came through. Brother Doug, thank y'all so much. Candace is always Miss AKA Lady. Brother Grios was up in here. Brother Hyoka. I think Brother Vaughn, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, Brother Vaughn, Brian, thanks for coming through. And for everyone else who was a first timer, we even had a troll in here at the very beginning. But I think they realized it wasn't going to work, so they kept moving on. Black Man Unfiltered Network, go check that out, y'all. For real, go over there and check that out. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thanks for rocking out with me. 2 hours and 45 minutes. You know what I mean? We getting there, y'all. We making it happen. I'm going to be chopping this down into bite-sized portions and putting it out there, trying to get those views up. And once those views get up, we'll be fully monetized. We'll be able to get those super chats. So, yeah, thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all later on this evening. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast, man. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.